Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to the show. Oh, I forgot to turn on my side lights. Sometimes see, this is what happens when I don't see the little weird square around me. Watch, it'll magically disappear the minute I remember to turn the proper lights on. It was updating before. It's still updating. Why is it still updating? That's not right. That's wrong. Do I try another computer? What happened? It's just, I'm sorry. I owe you. This is unprofessional. Anyway, let's see. I'm going to go back to and then it's highlights. Everything is updating. I don't know why. Thinking about it. There you go. There you go. Hey, there you go. See how much nicer I cut out? And this gives me a little. All right, that gets a little of the green grunge around me. Apologize. Hi, there you go. It's so much better, isn't it? I mean, it's no big deal to you, but it matters to me. You know, it's the little things. That it's a lot of the little things, quite frankly. There's a lot of little things. Hi everybody, welcome. Hey, roll in. Somebody was like earlier today was like, Hal, your hair looks so flat, and I'm like, flat? How big do you think the top of my freaking head is? What do you mean flat? I think they were being ironic, but if not, I don't go. We can't go much fluffier than this. It's just not appropriate for a news program. If I go any puffier, I'm going to have to start wearing black lipstick while I do the show. Not that there's anything right with that. But yes. Facetious, you think so? All right. I don't know. I think it was because it was darker earlier, and I don't know that they could see the full out. I was not properly backlit. I think I need like a glow light on the floor behind me to kind of make me pop on the morning show. That might be the trick. That might solve it. Because right now I have this kind of side lights that cut me out of the green screen. I think I need a little oomph from behind, a little haloing. You know what I mean? And I'm of course kidding. I absolutely could go puffier. We've seen it. It's occurred. Depends on the length, and there is a decent amount of layering going on. So there you go. I still want to know how it stays back. Oh, when I put it in a ponytail, it's if you kind of, you know how if it's layered, if you pull it all back, it like by running your hands back and you create, and then you could tighten it up with your hairband that way, and then if you need to, you just spray a little on the sides. It turns into Gene Simmons mystery, right? It could happen. There's nothing wrong with that. Thank you, Travis. Right out of the gate, appreciate that. Thanks for hosting me. If you're on Twitch, you can host me on your channel. That's a lovely thing to do. Helps us out immensely. Shares us around the interconnected webathon of the world of interwide webs. And like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. If you're a troll, don't forget a thumbs down. Also, write something because apparently the algorithm doesn't care if you like me or not. So let's get started. So KSUP Lion gave me a little surprise tonight. He gave me a little treat. A little, way to spice things up. See, I don't pre-watch these clips, and it is increasingly hard for me to find stuff I want to talk about that I haven't seen already. It's just, it's a big mix, right? I'm like, but I can't, the back and forth. So, CSL, basically scans for stuff, and a couple of things I can't do because I'm like, I watched that earlier today, or I saw that yesterday, or whatever. But this one was, I gotta say, this one was fresh off the presses. Good old Waters World. We haven't covered Waters World, and I guess the idea is that he may be, or has, or will be, or at some point, or is occasionally taking over Tucker's spot, or they're moving him into it, or something like that, while they broom Tucker out to the Fox Nation website and then disappear him forever. This one has our Marianne Williamson reveals the cause of the real political divide in America on Waters World. Yes, Marianne is making sure to keep her powder dry and only draw attention to and go on shows that truly matter. Oh my God. Now, many of you may or may not know that I have known Marianne Williamson since 1990. I used to run the mic at her lectures and then run her lectures for a bit after that. I am the person who, I used to run her website. I'm the one who talked her into buying Marianne.com when I was like, you don't understand. A URL at some point will really matter. You're going to want to have your name And they were like, blah, blah. And I was like, do it. So she has Marianne.com because I am a futurist. For the same reason I have HalSparks.com, which I got at the exact same time. It's like 1993, I think. Yes, I do. I do indeed know the secret. And anyways, the fact that she's on Water's World is embarrassing, is bizarre. Of all things, like I kind of get if she went on Hannity or something, if they would have her during the election. But yeah, I'm curious as to what needed to be said so much. She may have a new book out, and it may just be all part about that. I've been thanked in one of her books. I'm in the acknowledgments of one of her books, and I was at all the lectures where her first book came from. I largely met Oprah because of that. They were buds. I did A Course in Miracles all the way through. It's true. Long time ago. But I'm just curious what this is only 5 minutes. They only gave her 5 minutes. They didn't give her the full, shebang of the show. She didn't get to guest host. I don't no word on whether or not they gave her a microphone and allowed her to walk around Chinatown making anti-Asian jokes. But please tell me, I'm good, Sasha. Thanks for asking. Please tell me what the true, real political divide is while going on Water's World, of all things. Oh, why is there? I'm not hearing audio because I turned that thing off. The Dems' Civil War is what he's leading off with. By the way, I don't have any evidence to back this up, but I have heard rumors that Waters and Ben Shapiro share eyebrows, that they have to return them to the box after their show and only take them out with permission. I think they have custody of it, like weekends and holidays. So, hold on. Get back over here and click.
Among Democrats, the left not satisfied with President Joe Biden's leadership. His own party wants a progressive primary challenger. One person who's...
No, they don't. They so don't. We saw this article a couple of days ago. Like Politico ran this article that Weaver, Sanders' campaign manager, like one prominent Democrat says that. I'm like, okay, first of all, the campaign manager of an independent who ran on a Democratic ticket is not a prominent Democrat. He's not even a Democrat.
Names being floated. Marianne Williamson. She ran for the nomination last time, debated Biden, and captured our attention.
Right. That's right. In the article, somebody brought her up. That's right.
My first call is to Prime Minister of New Zealand, who said that her goal is to make New Zealand the place where it's the best place in the world for a child to grow up. And I will tell her girlfriend you are so on, because the United States of America is going to be the best place in the world for a child to grow up. I'm going to harness love for political purposes. I will meet you on that field, and sir, love will win.
Marianne Williamson.
It's not the clip that I'm looking at. And Marianne, why did you let them pour a bucket of water over your head before you came on the show? And what's the lighting situation here? Are they just doing this to you?
Joins me now. All right, so Marianne, are you considering primarying President Joe Biden?
No, like many, many people, I'm thinking very deeply about what's going on in this country. And I realize that the horse race is not the conversation that most matters. To listen to Fox, to listen to CNN, to listen to MSNBC, it's all about left versus right, isn't it? But I don't think that that's the real political divide that most matters.
Okay, first of all, it sounds like Marianne has the gunk right now. Marianne, I hope you're well. It sounds like she's got the gunk. Yeah. But all right.
Country. I think that's kind of a cartoonish version of the political.
Yes, Jesse, she's calling you a cartoon character, and she's right.
Divide in this country that makes billions of dollars for political forces and media forces. The real political divide in this country, Jesse, is between the powerful and the powerless. And the powerful...
What is Jesse Waters nodding about? Yes, the powerful. Chinese immigrants and black people. And the powerless. Me and Ben Shapiro and our shared custody of the eyebrows.
You are headquartered in both major political parties. It is the corporate-backed forces, whether it's big pharmaceutical companies, big oil companies, military defense.
What about the little pharmaceutical companies and the little oil companies? You know, they do exist. Is it only the top two of each company that are suspect? Like if you get money from Exxon, you're fucked. But if you get one from like, Western Indy Petroleum, that's fine. That's considered less because they're same $5,000. All right.
Contractors, et cetera, that are obstructing the financial well-being and the greater economic and professional and just personal opportunities of the American people. That's what concerns
me. I would agree with that there's definitely a big guy versus little guy scenario, and that's always been the case, and that's something this country has to address. In your opinion, as a...
Don't nod, Marianne, because he doesn't mean the same people, big guy versus little guy. What he means by big guy is like big... the education department versus little person screaming about ivermectin at a school board meeting. That's what he means, right? Ashland Doyle, that's right.
Progressive Democrat, if you still label yourself like that, where do you think President Joe Biden's biggest failures have been so far?
Yes, that's while we're on the subject of division and while we need to get rid of it, what's your label specifically, and what's your biggest criticism?
In year one.
Not pushing back. The biggest failures of Joe Biden, to me, are the same.
Not pushing back. In a loving way, sorry.
The biggest failures of Donald Trump and Barack Obama and every president in modern history, which is a refusal to take on in any fundamental way the dominance of these corporate forces. I mean, if you look at the actual economic opportunities of the average American, have they really been that different no matter who? Now,
yes, they absolutely have. Yes, measurably. Due to the policies of Barack Obama, the worth of the bottom 50% of the United States went up $3 trillion. It like we could fucking flip a... Is there really a difference between Trump and Obama or Clinton with his surplus and Bush with his, two wars that we, one of which we're, sort of permanent fixtures in, and the other one we just now got out of?
the president could do, he could invoke a medical emergency. He could therefore expand Medicare. He could override these vaccine patents so that poor countries could develop them. He could cancel the college loan. He could.
He can't cancel the college loan. He can get rid of the interest payment on it. He can't just get rid of it. Like, we've been through this before. There's an element of it you can because the federal government pays for it, but the private institution debt you can't get rid of. The House could pass a bill that pays it off. That's how it works. Biden can't sign a bill and make that debt vanish. He cannot. He can't. He cannot. I don't care whatever anybody's telling you, it's all bullshit. What he can do is sign a bill that sign into law that the House and the Senate pass that actually takes that debt and has taxpayer money erase it. That's it.
He could do so much. He could free Assange. He could decriminalize marijuana. There are so many things that could be done with the power of the presidency. But what has happened is that the presidency itself is such a partisan thing. The presidency, no matter whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, should stand unequivocally, the president should stand unequivocally for the rights and the security and the well-being of the American people.
One of the things that you talked about
left versus right
a lot in the debates was harnessing the power of love.
And by the way, if it's not just about left versus right, then the idea that he would zero out college debt when the right is totally against it is strange. Even the freeing of Assange or whatever. He is free. We don't have him.
How would you harness love if you were president right now in 2022?
Well, you know, Lincoln talked about the angels of our better nature, the better angels of our nature. Americans are people. We've got really wonderful things about us, and we've got some things about us, you know, we're just human beings. And some people
Well, speak for yourself, ma'am. I'm just kidding.
in this country harness anger, harness bigotry, harness racism,
But enough about you, Jesse.
harness some of the worst aspects of the American character. And what we need is a president, what we need is all of our leaders to harness the nobility and the intelligence and the decency and the dignity of the American people. And I think too often politicians on both sides of the aisle speak to the American people like we're not as smart as we are.
Oh, that's for sure.
And also continue.
What do you mean? But on what? In what way did Trump talk down to you, Jesse?
Foster this left-right divide rather than really speaking to what is most deeply wrong in this country and how we can work together to fix it. You know, Eisenhower was a Republican president, and he said that the American mind at its best is both liberal and conservative. Okay. There could be a lot more cooperation.
Okay. Well, the liberal part of my mind is very little.
So like the rest of your mind. I see. That's kind of part and parcel, is it not?
It's a lot of conservative.
The what part of your mind is very little? Wait.
The overall, the general size. I mean, right now, it's pretty much to scale.
Part of your mind is very little?
The liberal part. But that's okay, as long as there's a little bit there.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Right.
But, Jesse,
Marianne,
our fellow citizens are not our enemies.
I gotta go.
I gotta go. This was just a puff piece. I didn't actually bring you on to listen to you. You're just here to give me validity and make it look like I'm listening to people. You were brought on as a prop to create the illusion of balance. You're here to put the TM in the fair and balanced.
Okay.
And
thank you.
And thank you for
on.
coming on Water's World.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Let's just say that it makes no sense to me why the answer on that call was yes. If you're not selling a book, why the fuck are you on Jesse Waters' show? Because he's grotesque. No, Marianne's not a bad human being. But she was used as a prop just then to give him the illusion of actually listening. That's terrible. Don't do that. Unless you're going to push back against him. And the idea that the presidents we've had, right and left, don't push back was part of her point. And then she goes on Jesse Waters' show. I mean, a dude famous for his racist jokes, his racist man on the street stuff that he would do for Fox News, and just go, we can find a fucking hell. All right, there's so much to cover today. We'll just go right to Mike Pillow. Mike is the title of this one is Lindell, we're better off than we were a year ago. This is something he's been telling people. Now, I think he is at this big Christian gathering that he spoke at, and I don't know if it's let's see. I'm going to look on Lindell TV right now. Wow. Their certificate's dead. So let's see. Did they show him on there? Danchenko, there we go. Worldview. Renewal, January 4th. Speaks at the Health and Freedom Conference in Dallas. I think there was one even more recent than this one. AmericanFaith.com. Time to free America. The renewal, January 8th. Yalla, yalla, yalla. And it's, thank you, Jessup. The renewal2022.org is what this dude's selling. There's a bunch of these things. Kevin Jessup joins Lindell to discuss the renewal. That's partly what he's talking about. Like, he's selling this whole revival thing. And I think he was at that event for this or some similar. Let's see. There'll be an ad. Ankle pain. All right. Yada, yada, yada. Doobity-doo. Here you go.
Mike, this is the anniversary. You know about being deplatformed. This is the anniversary of President Trump being kicked off Twitter.
Oh, yeah, and I didn't get you guys anything. Shit. Which is, I suppose, the perfect gift.
Thoughts? Give us your. I know you're down at the renewal. Tell us about.
You're down at the renewal. He's so down at the renewal.
Cancel culture and trying to shut down the voices of guys like Mike Lindell.
Well, that's what they did last year at this time. That was the start of it. They took us and they just attacked our voice, and that's where we're at. A year later, we didn't let it happen. Steve.
Well, yeah, you did. You're not on Facebook or Twitter. You built your own website and nobody went. You're scattered amongst the 5 winds of right-wing talkery, Telegram, Getter, Truther, Dumber, Dopey, and Doc.
Be part of my speech today here. It's what if they did, they were doing that with the church, but they did it with our voice. And if you have...
you mean, yes. They were shutting down Christianity in the United States because apparently the government didn't want people to gather in large groups, especially in churches, because a lot of fucking people would die. And nothing says you're pro-Christianity like saying, hey, the general populace of the United States that considers themselves church-going Christians is aging and has a lot of comorbidities. Let's get them into small rooms breathing each other's air. Maybe we can get rid of this shit all in one lump sum. Nothing's more pro-Christian than insisting that in the middle of a pandemic, they still get together once a week and cough into each other's mouths as they try to squeak out a hymn while one of them has a massive lung infection.
Remember, then, when all we had then was the propaganda media, and they silenced all the media over here, the truth, and they
it's happening again. Dear God, this isn't some sort of scan of Mike Lindell, is it? Right? He hasn't transitioned over. The angel of Mike Lindell is visited upon us.
When they did that,
there he is.
By silencing us, now people are only hearing the propaganda, but we got past that because of your great show, frankspeech.com. All of these people are seeing the truth now. Yeah,
that's true. All they've gotten so many new people on board since Lindell TV has been on, and like all these people are like, I wasn't all in on this whole Trump thing and election fraud, but these hot new shows are breaking out.
A year later, we're in the best position we've ever been in.
Yes, you are. You are in the best position you've ever been in a weird pseudo-religious right-wing Christian revival of Bible-thumping but not reading anti-vaxxers and I guess anti-democratic seekers of the destruction of democracy in the United States, talking against a red curtain with a TV show or TV leaned up against a chair over there at the Real America's Voice booth at this fucking thing, talking to 3 guys in a living room. This is the best. A year ago, you were at the fucking Oval Office carrying notes in to advise the president. And this year, I would actually say we are in a better position now because this asshole is nowhere near the Capitol.
Why do you say it's the best position we've ever been in?
Yes, he's going to hit him with this, isn't he?
These massive platforms, and by the way, thank God for what you're doing at Lindell TV and Frank Speech and.
Well, don't thank God. Thank Brandon, who's spending all 25 million of Mike Pillow's dollars on this shit TV network that just, it's fancy. It's fancy pants, all he is. But we'll see.
And all these. But when you compare these are all startups that are getting traction. 4 million is
they're startups. They're all did somebody just hack up a lung in the background? Yeah, they're all just gaining ground. They're upstarts.
So getting traction. 4 million is huge for you.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, someone is hacking up a fucking lung in the background.
Guys doing. But how can you say we're better off than we were a year ago, sir?
Because
we're better off. We as the American people are better off. and since you guys are technically still Americans, although I don't know when you're going to have your passport burning party as you hop on Huo Wenguai's boat and sail off to Cyprus or wherever the fuck you're going to start your new revolution of, what if America was the same, but a dictatorship?
No, because they had a hidden agenda that we just didn't know how evil they were, Steve. We didn't know how bad Fox was. We didn't know how bad Twitter was. We didn't know how bad Zuckerberg.
Oh, we knew how bad Twitter was. Everybody knows how bad Twitter is, even when you go back to it. Like we all understand addicts, even if we aren't one, in a way we've never had before. Like, I know this is going to be awful. I know it's bad for me, but the shot of adrenaline. Come on. Let me see some thumbs. Let me see. That's right. We all know how shitty Twitter is. But yes, Fox, he's very upset at Fox. Fox is evil. Please continue. I never interrupt that part.
Facebook was. It all got revealed. So now it all gets revealed.
Yes, we also knew how shitty Facebook was. 2016, anybody? Political ads paid for in rubles? You're kidding me, right?
Now we have, I don't care if it's startups or whatever. When we get through this, we're going to have this great foundation. We're going to have this.
Yeah, it's fuck me. Everything is going so. Oh shit! This is falling over. It's on a pile of books. I'm sorry. This is. It's just getting better all the time. Watch. Wait.
We're going to have this great foundation.
We're
going to have this great foundation of a solid foundation of new platforms speaking out the truth, speaking out the word.
Yes, it's like building. We used to build our house on sand. Now we're building it on dog shit. So much more. We're fertilizing our delusions.
Once again, under God, this is going to be the greatest uniting ever. We have so many great pieces in place right now.
Yeah, right. They're just this close. There's these pieces. They're in place now. They're in pieces. They used to be a vase. There used to be this vase where we had the president and we'd won an election and we could have done anything. And then now we've got all these pieces where the vase used to be. It's as if someone completely out of their fucking mind knocked it off the shelf. Oh, good Lord. Hold on one second. I've got to... I'm grabbing on something. Hold on. There we go. Continue.
What do you tell us about? We got 2 minutes. Tell us about the renewal. You're giving a big speech down there today. How big is it, and what are you going to talk about?
Yeah, check off the list. We really aren't interested.
Well, there's thousands of people here, and what I'm going to talk about is just kind of what we're talking about. The year when we had.
Oh, wait, you're going to repeat yourself? What are the fucking odds? Let me guess. You're going to say the same shit you've been saying, and yet that is still yet to come true on any level.
When you have a side over here where you're getting the propaganda and the lies.
He means me. If you'll notice, there's no accident. He's pointing over this direction. Lies and propaganda. That's all I do, really. I mean, everything I say turns out to be true, and nothing he said is paid off so far. But that doesn't always have to hold true. I mean, dope springs eternal, as they say.
But think of the church that is speaking out for false gods, and over here.
I'm a church speaking out for false gods. He means Fox News, by the way. I'm not taking it personally.
You're hearing the word, the gospel you're used to hearing about Jesus. Well,
the stuff we're used to hearing. That shit.
They took the ones over here went completely silent.
Bastards. Pfft. Whatever happened?
Ones over here kept preaching out these false, these fake stories.
I'm speaking out the falsies. I beg your pardon. Hold on one second. Is that true? I'm looking something up real quick, if I may. Let's see. Hold on. I don't know what this guy's talking about. I've always been, I'm one of the friendliest people.
that you've ever. All I do is tell the truth. It's me. It's Fox News. It's rude. It's just rude. You're being rude. I don't want to be. I hate being confrontational. It gives me the vapors. But you're talking shit.
False news. So I'm going to do a parallel analogy of.
You mean a parallel analysis? Sorry, I'm the grammar devil. It's just a thing I do. I can't let it go.
We are with our media in this country and the world, and where
he's talking about me, Ma. I'm on TV.
Churches are. The church, you got to speak out now. Now is the time to speak out the word of God.
Speak out.
You got
That's right.
Disciple ministry to people.
Yes, but when you speak it out, do as we do at Fox News. Say it all backwards. In flames, and then just be it, and call forth the demons that shall do my bidding as I ask them to. I call you forth, Glingagdu. I call you forth, Raphael. I call you forth, Hingaflore. There we go. The demons. The three horsemen of gas. There we go. Lord Harrock of the clan shall speak forth on the. Oh, that was me. I'm sorry. That was wrong. I gotta get out of here. I gotta clean up. That's wrong.
People are looking for hope, and that hope is Jesus Christ.
Well, I hope he shows just as much as you do. I mean, I like to be wrong as much as the next guy. And if loving Mike Lindell is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Mike, can you give us right now how to get to...
Holy God! Who is this guy? He's got worse skin than I do. Jesus! There's a new devil in town. Who is that guy? Good God! He must be... He's going to take over the place. I can't compete with this. If we both showed up at the devil convention, this guy would win hands down. Yipe!
On Frank's speech, how to get to you and get her, what are the platforms, people? We got 30 seconds.
Yeah, there's not enough time there because he's not on the big sites. He's only on 19 small sites. He's on Getter, Truther, Dumber, Fatter, Slicker, Greasier, Spotty, whatever the fuck site you're on. Jesus, God, man. Whoo! Yipe! Woo! Look at that.
How do people get to you on your platforms?
They got by reciting Twitter backwards. Go retweet 3 times, and Getter will come out of your bathroom mirror.
Yeah, well, I'm on Getter, and I'm on frankspeech.com. Everybody, go there. You can watch. You can watch the whole renewal today. And
what? You can? Well, get me to it. Shit. Hold on. Let me look this up. The whole thing's on there, available free. Let's see. Renewal speech something. Speak the health and freedom. No, that's not it. Where the hell I'm scouring the internet for it. God damn it. Let's see. Lindell TV. There you go. And it's on show details. Okay, I'm going there. Yes, I know this. Okay, I don't want this. All right. I'm trying. There, just take me to the stupid site. God darn. Where is it? Where's his speech? He's there at this thing, and I want to see it. Where is it? I'm being denied. Who and why? Is it up on this part? Who the shit is this asshole? This guy's, look at that, Experienced Church. Oh, God. Oh, no. Look at all 3 of these. These are the fake. Oh, this is the Oh No Gay Church thing. All right. OAN special on election fraud. I'm sorry I missed that. Lindell Warren, speak up now or we lose it all. Well, Mike, you can't hold on to your virginity forever. It's just not done. The solution to replace voting machines. Dartboards, done. You're welcome. Kurt Olson summarizes the U.S. Supreme Court complaint. There's not enough people and / too many people. Also, Gorsuch, son of a bitch. That's basically, I can sum it up for you. There you go. Mike Lindell and Brandon House conclude the historical Frank Speech Thanks-a-thon with a prayer and a message of hope. I'd listen to it, but would make my skin burn. Yipe. When are these guys just going to reinstall Trump? Introduce his cause of America. It sounds like more like the symptom than the cause. This is ridiculous. All right, I don't know where the fuck this went, but I'm very disappointed. We're going to have to go search for it or some shit. I got to get out of here. I got to see a man about a mule. All right. Shit. Sorry, that's just what happens when I get accused of being preaching false gods or something. All right. Where he's on Getter, he's on Dumber.
But you also are going to see so much hope there. We have the cause of America. All these things there, Steve, your show's on every single day. We have.
Oh yeah, I know. And it's so nice that Steve's on every day because he says so many new things.
You guys, this is getting our voice out. We have 5-6 million people over there now, and we want to get the word out, get everybody there, get everybody hearing.
Everybody, all 7.6 billion people on Earth.
They got to hear about it. There's great news everywhere. We just need to get it out there.
Amen, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. We're going to cover the speech live this afternoon. Mike Lindell.
Right, thank you. Yep,
the armor-piercing shell. Mike.
The armor-piercing shell. The armadillo-piercing shell. The shell of a man. What a douchebag. But maybe it's on there. Hold on one second. Let me see. There you go. Whoops. Renewal. That'll be on it, right? That's got to show up. Mike Lindell speaks at Renewal, January 8th. Skip and then thing. And I'm proud to have.
Our next speaker is actually a Operation Restored Warrior alumni, and many of you know him. He is one of the main sponsors of this renewal, and we thank
one of the main sponsors. He's paying all the bills. He's the biggest sap we can find. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. After I yap for a big hand. Look at this. They're all outside in this. Look, it's outdoors, so they don't have to wear masks. You could tell they're growing a very young audience. Look at that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, the kids today, they love Mike Lindell. They're big Mike Pillow. There's some people out there in need of some renewal. Most of it in the terms of LASIK eye surgery and knee replacement, but still.
But I know we have that big of an audience. I should start talking about the election crimes, right? Since a lot of other stations aren't. I'm going to start with this. I'll start with, you just heard all about Operation Restore Warrior. Well, that's where I did do a full surrender to Jesus Christ on February 18, 2017.
Well, like a full surrender? A full surrender. Because it sounds like a partial surrender. I'm not going to lie.
And I always wanted that relationship, but God was always chasing me. And I'll tell you, when I was finally did that surrender.
Yeah, that's God. If anything, if I have a message, God, if you're listening, you need to play hard to get. You can't keep calling. They're just not going to respect you in the morning.
It got rid of all my fears of speaking in public, that's for sure. And
yeah, it doesn't seem like you've had to take any substances or 9 cups of coffee to feel like you can stay focused at all.
But it made it easier. I could go.
This is part of Mike Lindell's God is a Slut tour.
With no fear, only fear of the Lord. And if you're out there right now, and I want to talk about addiction. I'm going to quick tell you, I was a former crack cocaine addict, amongst other things.
By the way, he means it when he says former because he doesn't believe he is anymore. He doesn't believe you stay an addict or you have to work with it. That's his opinion about it. And that is the opinion of his addiction network too, is that you can shed it through Jesus Christ and then you're just not anymore. I guess you can casually use crack again now and again because you're no longer addicted to it. You can do it socially.
And you're all going to get the books today.
He's a social crack. Oh, you get a free book. Gee, and I thought the sales of that book was legit. You don't have to pay for a whole fucking event and pass out a copy of your autobiography to keep it on the list?
And it's a book of hope. And I want to tell you, when you...
They're passing out copies of Hope Hicks' autobiography, mainly for the centerfold.
About hope, it was the spring of 2000. It was the spring of 2008, and I was downtown Minneapolis, incidentally, right where all the stuff got burned out, our horrible political decisions there.
What were you doing in the middle of that area that got burned down, Mike? Please tell us.
But I had been up for 14 days, and I came out of the room, and there was...
You've been up doing crack for 14 days. Okay, no. There's no way you stayed awake for 14 days. It's just not, there's no crack that powerful. I'm sorry, or the Nazis would have used it to win the war. Like they would have, there's no fucking, Jesus Christ. I was up for 14 days. 14 days, right?
3 of the biggest drug dealers there that were standing there. I go, they were my dealers plus a lot of other people. And I said, what do you...
This is how fucked up he was. They're like, Mike, and we've heard this story before. Mike, look, you can't die of an overdose because you own this apartment and this is where we all get high. So we need you to get clean so you can pay the bills on this motherfucker so that we can keep using. Literally his dealer and everybody's like, you got to stop, dude, because you're our best customer. We can't have you die on this.
And they go, you've been up for 14 days. You're going to bed. Or you're...
That was the first time they'd said it to you? Day 8, they weren't, man, do you need a nap?
You off. And I go, what is this, an intervention? They said, call it whatever you want, Mike. And 2...
So he called it an intervention.
2 of them left, and the last...
Apparently God hates this story. There is, by the way, a wired mic right behind him. This is kind of the best part. God needs this story told, and that's why he's given me this platform. Fucking held help.
Here we go. The last step.
I'm sorry. This is getting so Chevy Chase right out of 8 and up 8 in it. To watch the show in a motel. I had fucking kite.
The last dealer, he sat there and he...
The Last Dealer. It was, basically, I wish there was a picture of this. It looked like The Last Supper. The Last Dealer. It's just him and, and this cracked out chick he used to hang out with leaning on his shoulder. And then, like, the last dealer, I think his name was Judas.
He said, how much... Here you go. And he said, how much do you have left? And he tried to wake me out, but he fell asleep. By that time,
I'm sorry. He tried to wake me up, but he fell asleep. Oh my God. 1 second. I almost choked myself. What the fuck? He brought you some crack. How much do you have left? And the guy's like, I'll wait till you finish what crack you have left. And he fell asleep. Yes, because nothing says intervention like, we'll let you finish whatever drugs you have on you. This is the world's worst intervention. Need a light? You can borrow my pipe if you want. Whatever. Come on, dude. That's a dirty needle. Try a fresh one. What the fuck kind of intervention was this?
Scraping the crack pipe and looking on the floor, carpet farming for crack. And I looked over and he's sound asleep. Well, I down on the streets of Minneapolis tonight to get more crack. Well,
when you couldn't wake up the dealer, he's laying right there. And the dude was so sound asleep. Maybe you should have bought some downers from the dude. They all fell asleep? What the fuck happened? What did you just elbow past them? I just have to say there's a lot of parts of this story that seems to be missing. Who in the hell How do you, does that, what the fuck?
Gotten the word out, and I couldn't buy crack anywhere, and I, believe me.
Oh, he woke up. Holy shit, where'd he go? Quick, grab my phone. Oh, shit. This is an APB, an ACB, all crack bulletin. Don't sell Mike crack. He got past us. What happened? I fell asleep. Fucking benzos.
Very resourceful. I went everywhere. And,
well, apparently not. I refuse to believe, like, this, apparently, all we have to do is, law enforcement, if you're listening to this story, apparently if you take down this one crack dealer in Minnesota, it knocks out all the crack supply in North America. This would do it. This would cover it. Head right to Minneapolis. We know where it is. It was somewhere around the place that burned down. We don't know if he went up in smoke, but if he did, apparently the crack industry in the United States is gone.
Back upstairs at 2:30 in the morning, and that dealer, he's awake, and he said, how'd that work out for you? And he said, here's what he said. This is very important. He said, okay, you've been telling us for years that this My Pillow thing is just a platform for God, and you're going to come back someday when you...
Wait, you've been telling this to your crack dealer? You've been telling this for years. Not for years. I mean, it seems like years. It's been 14 days straight.
And help us all out of this addiction world we're living in. Now, those are the dealers that said that.
So we'll stay here and keep doing crack, but go clean yourself up and help us survive. We're basically just going to use you as a coconut raft to get out of addiction. We'll keep using until you get that thing off the ground. And by the way, what this does point out a very important part is a lot of people think that he was a former crack addict that then got himself clean and formed My Pillow. He did not. He did that before, and the money he was making so much fucking money doing this thing that he became a drug addict because idle hands, whatever.
He took a picture. He said, here, I'm going to take a picture. Give me your phone. He took a picture. It's actually on the cover of the book you're all going to get. And he said, you're going to need it for that book you told us you're going to write someday. Well, I'll tell you what, because I would always tell those dealers and tell my friends, someday I am going to quit, and I could see this. I would be, that I'm going to, I wanted to help people. What a blessing it is to help people. Well,
and by the way, as somebody who's like fried his own brain doing drugs and wants to do this part, I would like to say for the record that if this was the sum total of what he was doing, we'd have no problem with this fucking guy. As silly as it is, and as much of an exaggeration as it is, and as much as he's using it for his own self-glorification in a lot of fronts, who gives a fuck? If it ended up helping people, that'd be totally fine. It's his weird alliance with Trump and this faux version of Christianity that pisses all over this whole nonsense, that makes this gross.
2 of those dealers work for me now, and they're born-again Christians, okay? Yeah.
Out of the 8, what happened to the other 6? Or the other, are they dead? Did you not help them? What happened?
But
turnout's a little weak in the upstairs, Mike. I mean, I know you paid for it, but maybe next time call Ginny Thomas, Clarence Thomas's wife. She can bust some people in there for you. Thanks, hi Jackie. Thank you.
And I'm going to quick forward up to that year. Later that year, in December of that year, I was staring at the ceiling. I hadn't quit anything yet, and they
so it didn't work. Okay.
Had lost everything, and My Pillow was just a little blip on the radar. And a friend of mine came to me, and I hadn't seen him in 4 years. He was my equal in every way. We had both done cocaine, started in the early 80s, both switched to crack cocaine in the early 2000s. And
was he your sponsor?
And he came walking in, and he had been missing for 2 years, or for 4 years. I hadn't seen him. I heard he had found the Lord and quit everything. And he came walking. I said, Dick, what are you doing? He goes, man, what are you doing? He said, the Lord led me here. And I said, hey, I got some questions for you. I said, first question I asked him, I said, is it boring? And he said, no, man, it ain't.
Is it boring? So basically, that's why hang around Trump. That's why this like faux bullshit version of Christianity that he's selling. That's why, get caught up in this electioneering bullshit story is because he's an adrenaline junkie and he needed excitement because apparently normal, good old fashioned, good-hearted Christianity to him is boring. He was bored. That's why he went and saw Trump. That's why he got involved in all this kind of shit. Being a decent human being is not boring. But it is to him. That's exactly what happened. I mean, we're getting a view inside this dude's dome.
And to this day, I don't know if I asked him if being with Jesus is boring or being off drugs, right? And but he said no.
Well, you were in your defense, you were a bit fucked up at the time.
It ain't boring, but I hit him up for 2 hours with questions that only he could answer because he was my hope match. It gave me hope because he had been where I had been. Okay. Well, so I'm going to encourage any of you out there to go to anybody out there in addiction of any kind. Go to LindellRecoveryNetwork.org. I set that up. It's free, and it's with Paul's principles you just seen up here. His.
By the way, unfortunately, he uses it to push his books. He does. It's not an actual network. It's a reference site.
Is on there. For Operation Restore Warrior. Remember, I went through it. I'm not a veteran. I was blessed to be able to go
No problem,
through it.
CSL.
Now I'm passing that out. Anybody out there, if you're watching, go there now, the LindellRecoveryNetwork.org. Okay, now we got that out of the way. Now I'm going to tell you this.
Okay.
If you all see me at the Rose Garden, when I did that speech with the president, it said a nation had turned its back on God.
Yes, and you were attacked. Not because you were saying a nation had turned its back on God, but that you somehow thought that Donald Trump was a way of fixing that this dude was a remedy.
I said, I said, we need to go spend time in the Word, spend time with our families in the Bible. This was
which you did none of. You didn't go, this is a political thing, but this is not going to be the primary focus of my time. We need to go spend time with love and in the grace of God and with our family and all that kind of. You didn't do that. He immediately just went on the fucking road, bullshitting everyone, buying buses that ended up at January 6th.
The China virus, right? Well, how did we get there?
We need to spend time with God, and our family while using as racist a phrase as we can muster for a disease that hit everybody.
Turn its back on God. Of course, we took God out of the schools and all these things, but I'm going to draw a parallel here.
Well, we didn't. In all fairness, we didn't. The founding fathers did.
We're at now with the media. Now, the way I see it, the way we turn our back on God, you had churches over here.
Uh-oh, he's referencing me again.
Churches that didn't speak out the truth. In fact, they spoke out lies. And
dear.
You had these churches. Then you had ones over here that were speaking out the truth about Jesus Christ and the gospel. Okay. And
what the fuck? What do you think the other churches were doing? What do you mean? What a douchebag.
A lot of them. And then they got less and less where they turned.
Huh? All right.
How can we,
weird.
Bringing people in, entertainment, all these different things. So but they still were speaking out the truth of Jesus, a lot of them, right? Now, what happens?
Oh, you mean, whoops, I knocked my own headphones out of the thing. I was so shocked by this bullshit. The problem is that some churches have bans.
We have all these ones not speaking the truth, or spewing lies, false.
Right. Yes. Yeah. We get it. Yes. I understand. You have your issues with me. There's really just no two ways about it. Let's see. If I may. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll have to just. So. Please continue.
False prophets, whatever. And then you have.
What? Don't just say whatever. You can't look at my fucking face and go whatever.
One's over here speaking out the gospel of Jesus Christ. What if they stop talking?
Well, you're asking the wrong guy.
What if they say, they stop talking, they start talking about other things?
Yeah, like pillows and crack.
They don't talk about the truth. Am I talking?
No, they just talk about election fraud and stuff. If I can get them to do that, if I can get them to stop talking about Jesus and the message of hope, and hey, pillow dude, you might be onto something. You wanna hook up, maybe team up? Because I think we could do each other a solid. See, if I could just get these churches to stop talking about goodness and patience and kindness and love and all that fucking bullshit, and get on there every Sunday and start bitching about the election and, and that, like, failing, like, that Biden's terrible because he goes to, because he goes to church a lot. And if you could start shitting on that dude, that'd be very helpful. And then that this other dude, this pussy-grabbing buddy of mine, if you guys could hook it up where he is the symbol of piety in all these churches. I'm just saying there's a there, and we might have a little business deal, you know what I'm saying? Might have a little cushion we could MyPillow our landing on.
Well, Fox News, well, that gets to that in a minute. But they don't.
Oh, I got, we can get to that right away. I have some friends at Fox News. I mean, we're like this, buddy. That's me on top. Yeah, me and Fox News, we're like that. You take it and you like it. That's me. That's really good. All right.
But they're not talking. What happens when that happens is...
What happens? When that happens, what happens when it happens?
Our nation, we turn our back on God. That's what happens.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, can you make... It seems like you'd be the guy to talk to help me facilitate that on Earth. Because honest to God, I've been at this shit for a long time and really not made a lot of progress. Even as people stray away from the church, they still maintain what are effectively Judeo-Christian values. Keep murder still a crime. What the fuck is that? You know what I mean? So if we could just kind of, if there's a new way to angle on this, perhaps you seem to have the hookup. You've got all these people that, are gullible and will throw money at shit, which are my favorite. Ask Jim Baker. He can vouch for me. Jim Baker, like, he's got me on speed dial. Trust me on this. And if you could just maybe you could carve off a little of that pillow scratch my way and hook me up with those churches that are speaking the truth about, election fraud and all that shit. If we could work that out, that'd be fucking awesome. That'd be fucking awesome.
It was taken out of our schools, and when none of us, we didn't realize it. When I was growing up.
Well, that's because you're an adult. You shouldn't be in a school. I take that back. You should be in the school. And even, former crack addicts should be wandering around schools. Also, make sure that some of your Second Amendment friends are always wandering around the grounds. It makes it way easier for the people that I poison their minds to get on school grounds and do some real damage if a bunch of other people have normalized walking around with big guns. You know what I mean? They don't even know who to watch out for anymore. It's fucking sweet.
I went to church. I believed in God. I didn't have that personal relationship with Jesus yet. But
I've met the dude. I mean, it's like I got to be honest. He's a good dude. Like, I've hung out with him, and no, I can't. And you're talking to me, right? I got nothing bad to say about Jesus. Like, I'm like, you're such a dude. It's just hard to hate the guy. You know what I mean? It's just impossible to fucking hate the guy. I try, believe me. It's my business. I'm in the hate business. I still can't handle it. Sit there with Jesus, I'm like, what a sweetheart. What am I saying? You know what I mean? It's terrible. You, on the other hand.
It happened, and this is what got us there. Now, I want to bring you up to the 2020 election and the miracles that.
Oh, good.
Since that day. Not before that. Everybody.
Yeah, all that loaves and fishes horseshit. Zero that out.
Prayed we want Donald Trump to win. God, our prayers weren't answered. We're going to talk about that in a minute, about prayers not being answered.
Yes, that's one of my favorite topics. And by the way, the idea that they weren't answered is ridiculous. Of course they were. You just got to fucking know, buddy.
But I'll tell you what, our prayers are being answered because you know what? Where we're at right now.
Yeah. He prayed, I showed up. That's how it works.
All the stuff that's happened.
You rang Mike Pillow?
Last year, God's had his hand in all of this. And
Oh, you bet your ass he has. He tapped me on the shoulder and he went, this one's all yours. And I was like, oh yeah, we're hooking it up.
That's going on. It's opening up people's eyes. Evil is showing its ugly face. It's pop.
Hey, Hey, fuck you, buddy. I understand. Look, I'm millennia old. I'm a post-temporal demon. I am beyond time. That's how fucking old I am. And I would say, all things considered, I look fairly decent for my fucking age. I'm 4 billion years old. Who do you think accidentally knocked over the candle that started the Big Bang, you dumb fuck? Me. Why do you think I'm responsible for the majority of the things that happen in the Earth plane, dum-dum? Meanwhile, yeah. Do I have some skin issues? Sure. But I'm no Steve Bannon.
Like pocket gophers or whack-a-mole, right?
Pocket gopher? Dude, that is a euphemism for playing with yourself in your trousers, pocket gopher. The fuck?
Imagine if all these things that happened last November and December, judges were in fear. No judge ever looked at any evidence, but if they had, we would have overturned the election, and you know what? We'd have lost our country forever because we wouldn't.
Yeah, he isn't batting 100 on the truth right now, but I will say that he's right about that one. If Trump had meant to stay in, if he'd gotten in there and stayed, the United States would be over. Can confirm.
Deep down, what really happened and all the corruption of the election through machines. Did I say that? Machines? Yes. Computers? Dominion?
Yes, dominion over the computers. The Lord gave me dominion over the computers.
Machines, but anyway, if that didn't happen, we wouldn't be here. We would have flipped.
Yeah, if that hadn't happened, you wouldn't be in a half-filled amphitheater in the middle of fucking nowhere talking into your second of 2 mics in a 8-minute speech. You're so much better off now, Mike. Wait till I get a hold of you.
Over. If legislatures would have done their job, we would have lost our country forever.
Yes, if government functions, America is done. Right, I hear you. Dude, I'm literally the devil, and I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I know everything, and I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
And you're all going, what do you mean, Mike?
Yes, that's exactly what I was saying. I'm like, what do you mean, Mike? Fuck me.
Job, we wouldn't have got down to the root of the problem. Everything that would have happened.
The root. Fucking Minnesota. Root. Jesus.
In Georgia, when they did the runoff,
I love that every time I open my mouth, my ears go out a little bit.
Runoff. And I prayed almost a year ago, on January 4th, I prayed that they would take them both, that evil would take them both.
Did you? Well, it didn't happen. I tried. To get both of those assholes elected, and the Democrats won. So you fucked it up? Because
Mike, you lost our country. No. I prayed for that because if I'd have been their market, I'd have said, give them back a Republican so they shut up about the election. And if they got greedy and took them both. You all remember exactly where you were then going, now what?
I was there. I was going, now what? And then I was like, this.
Back a Republican, everyone has said, just get over it. Well, we'll get it back in 2022. And we lose our country. This isn't about politics. This is about our country, our freedoms, and God. This has been a spiritual battle. And
yeah, I can join in the applause there. I'm not above it. I still don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but please continue. One of the smallest sins, and one of the most powerful ones, is wasting people's fucking time.
So that was a miracle that happened, because now what's happened is everyone out there it's been evil. It's been a big battle of evil and
get on with it.
The spiritual battle. Well, what are we facing right now? Now, remember I told you the church. What happens to a country or to our country when you have the bad media here that gives you this false...
He can see me. I knew it. I'm over here, Mike. You can see me. It's lovely.
Just like we talked a minute ago about the churches. And then you got media you trust over here that you trust.
Wait, over where? Fuck you, dude.
To speak out the truth, or at least speak out. And they go silent on us. That's...
Well, I do have my special talents.
we're at. That's where we're at. You're foxes of the world. The conservative media that just went silent. So all your...
Yeah. I don't know what it was. They all just decided to not tell the big lie. I don't know. And after all I've done for them.
This is false narrative. That's why I'll put out there. Go to frankspeech.com. You need to go there. You need to...
Hold on 1 second. Let me... Give me a second. I'm just trying to... frankspeech.com. Dear God. I'm just looking... I'm sorry, I'm looking on my iPad and it's... frankspeech. This is filth. I must have misspelled it.
What's going on? And I'm going to end it with... I'll end it with this.
Oh, no. Don't tell me it's over.
It's because we've had to get the word out, the truth out. We've had to get the truth out because this is part of the battle that we're in. And I want to tell you...
Well, congratulations, Mike. You have successfully gotten the word out. It is no longer in the conversation. It's all out.
Everything that's happened, they say, Mike, you're so optimistic. I'm more optimistic today than I was yesterday, the day before, and the day before.
Oh, you're like that Sparks fella. He's always optimistic about the future. I fucking hate that shit.
You guys, there is so much going to happen right now. It's just amazing. Yeah. And I'm telling you, we will get our country back, and we will once again be one nation under God. And
know your exit. You got an applause. Beat it. Walk the fuck off. Get out. Leave them wanting more, Mike.
And
trust me, this is something I know a lot about. You've got a standing ovation from a bunch of people who can barely stand. Take the W.
Thank you. And I want to say this. You know, when you all prayed, when we pray, and I get it to me all the time where people say, Mike, I prayed. I've been praying and my prayers don't get answered. They didn't get answered.
Oh, yeah, they do. All prayers are answered. You just get a lot of fucking no's, buddy. I deliver them myself.
And I used to have that too. Those are reactionary prayers, right? A lot of them are reactionary prayers. I'd get myself in a situation, go, please, God, get me out of this, get me out of this. Well, let me tell you, it might not.
You're asking the wrong dude.
In God's will.
I am the dude. I will have to say, Mike, if next time you're in and you need help out, I'm actually the guy you call if you want help getting out of something. You know what I mean? If you're like, hey, get me out of this. I'm like, all right. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's going to cost you. There's a contract involved. It's a fair trade for later. I get what's left of your soul. And I noticed it. I had to put that as a clause in the contract because a lot of you assholes burn your souls up during your life. What the fuck is that? I get like, oh, so you sign a deal with some 15, 17, 19-year-old musician or something. By the time they're dead, they've burned up so much of their soul. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? I wouldn't make a deal for your soul. Is this much of it. The shit.
And where's God's will? God's will is in the Word. And just like I said at the Rose Garden, we need to spend time getting back in the Word, being back in with reading the Bible. Because let me tell you.
Wait a second. Another point of agreement. Did you just say what I thought you said? Hang the fuck out. We have to what now?
Just like I said at the Rose Garden, we need to spend time getting back in the Word, being back in with reading the Bible. Because let me tell you,
reaming the Bible, reaming the Bible. That's what we're doing now. We're reaming the Bible. Look, I'm the fucking devil, and that's below me. What a terrible...
I tell you, it might not have been God's will. And where's God's will? God's will is in the Word. And just like I said at the Rose Garden, we need to spend time getting back in the Word, being back in with reading the Bible. Because let me...
I'm sorry. Forgive me. This creep wants to ream the Bible. That's disgusting. What? No, not rimming the Bible. Reaming the Bible. This is basically the same thing. What the hell's wrong with you? Who wants to stick their penis in the Bible? What's wrong with you? That's disgusting. What do? Drill a hole in it first, you sicko? Reaming the Bible. Jesus. Sorry.
Where is God's will? It's in the Word. And then you can be proactive in praying, and they line up. It's amazing how it lines up.
This is the reaming the Bible hand gesture.
I've had this big platform God's given me, and it just thinks...
Not so fast, asshole. I played not too small a part in this whole thing.
If you guys knew all of the pieces as I stand here today, all we have to do now is put them together and execute.
Yeah, we got a Humpty Dumpty this motherfucker.
But in the meantime, you're all out there. This is not the time ever to live in fear. You don't save courage for a rainy day. It's pouring outside. You need to.
Actually, these people are in danger of getting melanoma. It's pretty sunny out.
Courage, not live in fear. And I'm speaking to the churches. You need to speak out now.
They are literally getting behind you, Mike, to play walk-off music to get you the fuck out of there.
No one man, our people. It's only one person can bring this back to one nation under God.
Oh, something else. Sorry.
That's Jesus Christ. We are in the biggest revival in history.
Yeah, good job. Good job dropping the product name, buddy. You don't even have to use the product yourself. You can just bring it up. People are like, you're right. Coke is life.
Jesus, thank you all. God bless you. And we will get this nation back. Thank you.
Couldn't say God bless America. I appreciate that. That was sweet of you, Mike. Hand the mic off and never say God bless America. You had one chance. You could have done it, but yeah. Skip it. Fuck it. No, keep just half talking. That's fun.
God bless you all.
No. Yep, had another bite of the apple, fucked it up. Oh, that was it. That's the whole fucking thing. Jesus. Holy hell. So there was that was what he was talking about. That was his little visit there. Now, there's so much, oh god damn it, there's so much to do. I want to see what Diamond and Silk have to say about January 6th. I kind of need them. I kind of need to hear their take on January 6th. It's not particularly long. It's not on their regular channel. It's probably got a pillow ad in the middle of it, but we'll see. It's a mystery. We'll find out. Here we go.
And please make sure you hit the thumbs up button.
Thumbs up,
so that more people.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. That's sweet. They helped me with the reset. You're listening to Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide and watching on whatever format you want. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. If you want to subscribe, go to twitch.tv/Hal Sparks. Use Amazon Prime. Doesn't cost you a dime. You can like and subscribe on any of the channels, follow and that kind of stuff to help out. Any or all of them, sure. We're at 28K on YouTube at the time of doing this, a little bit over, and we're trying to hit 30. So, and then if you're on the Facebook page, you can support the show using stars or just by hanging out or becoming. I think there's memberships even on the Facebook page now too. And January 21st, 22nd of 2022, whenever, because people are going to watch this for posterity, I have no doubt. I will be in San Francisco doing stand-up at Cobb's Comedy Club. All right, here we go.
And see this video. So I think we have a little bit, maybe like a minute or two for people to come in.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, hey, oh, ha.
5 eggs.
I mean, really.
You're welcome, Diamond. Come on in.
They're both checking their reflection in the video. That's hilarious.
Yeah, we're gonna wait for Hugh to let somebody.
Yeah, you don't want to give this magic away.
That we're on
for free.
You know, when this is what happens when you're on the liberal platform. So thank you all so much for coming in. Yes, when you come in, if
it is. When you're on the liberal platform, you mean YouTube?
Looking at this video, hit the thumbs up button. That is very imperative because then more people.
It is very imperative
To see that we were on. So that's the little trick, I think, is the thumbs up. So I see some of y'all. Come on, hit it. Hello, darlings. Hello, darlings.
Hello.
Somebody said hello, Angela from Richmond. Hello, and Kathy and Maureen from Canada.
They got
all the way from Canada.
2,000
kicks up. Good evening, everybody.
Out of 6,000 views.
Thumbs up button.
You got
hello from Mississippi. Are y'all doing okay down there in Mississippi? Oh, thank you so much,
we're doing
Donna.
Fine. I'm doing fine. Thank you.
So just hit the thumbs up button so that more people can see this video.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody said reporting in from Georgia. I heard some things are going down in Georgia. I heard some investigations are happening
finally
in Georgia.
After a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, into Donald Trump.
So come on in. Hey, everybody. Hey, from Alabama and Montana.
Georgia.
And Savannah, Georgia. San Diego, Michigan. Look, y'all are all over the place.
North Carolina in the house.
Yes.
You guys are all over the South.
Yes. Want to hear your
Linda.
comments. You want to hear our comments about January?
Look at that. Oh, somebody's blowing up the tip jar over here. Look at boink. There he goes.
Thank y'all.
Motang in there.
Wow.
Somebody from California and Nepal. Oh, you know we love Trump. That's why we defend him to the highest. And that's why when I see people don't like, who passed away? Who was that?
Kristen W.
Let me see who that is.
I don't know who.
Oh, Kirsten W. This is them finding out that Kirsten W. died. Wow.
Okay.
But yeah,
go ahead. Talk for one moment still.
Most definitely, you all. Make sure that you all join us on frankspeech.com. That's frankspeech.com.
Oh, FWANQ.com. Sure.
Join us tonight as we give you our take about January the 6th, our full take about January the 6th, our thoughts about it, and we're going to be talking about it on frankspeech.com.
Oh, I thought this was it.
We can't say much here on the liberal platforms about our truth, thoughts, and feelings because it's not acceptable here with the liberal platform. So make sure you join us on frankspeech.com. Also, let's not forget that we still have a patriot out there on the battlefield fighting for the integrity of America, the integrity of the elections, and his name is Mike Lindell. So we want...
Oh, my God. So they're doing a pillow ad. Skip.
It's mypillow.com. Use promo code Trump1.
No.
You try to join Frank Speech and they won't accept you. They got it fairly easy. All you have to do is give your email address and then you're
all you got to do is give them your email address, your latitude and longitude, sign off on the terms of service that allows them to use any file on your phone.
To view and see everything, okay?
Right. But if you have any issues, go to Getter. G-E.
If you have any trouble getting on this site, go to a different one.
They got it fairly easy. All you have to do is give your email address and then you're able to view and see everything, okay?
Right. But if you have any issues, go to Getter. GETTR.com. We do live stream over there.
Yeah.
And do a lot of re-airing over there so that you can catch up on everything.
Yeah, and I really wish that I could we can really go there on this platform, but they're not gonna let us.
They won't let us, but we do have a lot to say as it pertains to January.
We have a lot to say. Also, Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and Sean Hannity.
Yes.
I have some things that I have to say. And I want y'all to meet me over there because sometimes Diamond get in her feelings.
Right.
I get teary-eyed, I get in my feelings. So I'm gonna need y'all to go over in her feelings.
Hold on. Right. I'm not going to half watch your take about your take. This is very silly. All right. But someone else who isn't afraid to give his full take about the January 6th anniversary and Joe Biden's address, Sebastian Gorka and Mike Graham two guys who are vying to be. I guess they're competing in a like a costume contest to see who most looks like a guy who will buy beer for teenagers if they promise to sit on his lap.
Now let's have a listen to Joe Biden, who claims to be the president of the United States of America.
He actually is the president of the United States of America, but nice try.
Listen to this.
And here's the truth. The former president of the United States of America has created and spread a web of lies about the 2020 election.
True.
He's done so because he values power over principle.
True.
Because he sees his own interest as more important than his country's interest, than America's interest.
Yep.
And because his bruised ego matters more to him than our democracy or our Constitution. He can't accept he lost.
Yeah, all right, Joe. Get over it, son. I mean, I don't know why he's still banging on about Donald Trump. Let's talk to...
Well, it was the anniversary. He doesn't talk about it all the time. It's the only time he's actually brought him up, and he brought him up on January 6th because of the violence of that day. I don't know why you're still banging on about Donald Trump.
To Sebastian Gorka from America First. Sebastian, a very good...
Speaking of someone who's always banging on about Donald Trump, Sebastian Gorka.
Good morning to you and a very happy new year.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I'll notice you're still not over Trump's loss. You've been going on about it every fucking day, the whole year. And you name him by, personally, all the time.
Mike, happy new year. Did you have to play that clip? It's really early here, Mike.
I'm sorry, but I think the good people of the Independent Republic need to know how old deranged Joe seems to be carrying on. Because, I mean, he's like a man obsessed, for heaven's sake.
Yeah,
Yes, he's so obsessed, this is the only time he's spoken of him in the last year.
To send a memo to the putative president, to the mainstream media, to the crazies on cable TV. My old boss hasn't been president for a year, guys.
Right.
I mean...
Yes, and you say that he won all the time, and you won't shut up about that fact, that you believe so. So, why?
TDS is real. Trump derangement syndrome is real. And can I just doff my cap? I have to recognize in front of all of your viewers and listeners, Mike Graham is the only guy on British radio who's giving you the alternative, real story about what happened a year ago here in DC. So,
oh, you mean the guy who he's the only guy on British radio who's also obsessed with Trump and won't let it go. I see.
Mike, but this speech, this doddering senile old git talked about the armed insurrectionists, and
yes, the armed insurrectionists. Get out of here. Close so many friggin' things. I gotta shrink this down. Donald Trump. There were no guns whatsoever at the Capitol riot on January 6th. False. President Trump claimed on Fox News there were no guns in the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. During an on-air conversation with Trump on July 11th morning, Sunday Morning Futures, host Maria Bartiromo twice broached the topic of whether guns were present during the attack. They called it an armed insurrection, yet no guns were seized. Bartiromo said before describing it as misinformation spread about Trump. Later, she repeated the assertion. They continue all this in an armed insurrection, yet no guns were seized, Mr. President. Right, there were no guns whatsoever. Court documents, video evidence, and news coverage directly contradict this characterization. Many of those involved in the attack were armed. Several had guns that police later seized. The event was far from a love fest. 5 people died, including a Capitol police officer, and more than 140 officers were injured in the day's events. Video evidence showed both police officers and rioters being injured in the brawls. Rioters called for hanging then Mike Pence and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Damage to the Capitol is estimated $1.5 million and included ransacking offices, broken windows and doors. broken and stolen photography equipment, ruined statues, murals, and furniture. A pending security funding bill provides dollars to cover related expenses, including tightened security and trauma counseling. PolitiFact reviewed the case files of approximately 430 defendants who were arrested and charged for their actions at the Capitol. We found several defendants who police say were found to have brought firearms with them. Some were charged with having firearms on Capitol grounds, while others stashed them away while in Washington. They include Lonnie Kaufman of Alabama. They include Guy Reffitt of Texas. They include Christopher Michael Alberts of Maryland. They include, our ruling Trump and said there were no guns whatsoever. People with no guns. Court records and news reports show that many insurrectionists were armed, and several were charged with having firearms on Capitol grounds or stashed nearby while in Washington, D.C. In addition, there was a guy with a whole truckload of guns that the idea it was just like a half a block away. The idea that like once they got over there, everybody would go meet at his truck. Never got to converse with anybody because they shut off cell power in one area. So we rate the claim as false. Just saying. Yes, armed. Yes, fucking armed. He's a liar. He's a liar. They're lying.
My old boss demented.
Yeah.
If there's anybody demented, it's the old git sitting there in the White House, in his fake White House studio. Do you know they actually have a fake studio now for his White House? So across the street, a block away, there is a fake Oval Office. I don't know.
No, there is a set for doing Zoom calls and that kind of stuff. It's not ovular. It's not, he doesn't pretend to be in the Oval Office. It's simply a set. It's not round at all. It's not the Oval Office. There's no fake, there's no version of the desk, the Resolute desk. There's no images inside of it that match the inside of the Oval Office. It's a flat wall.
Maybe it's closer to the stuff they're pumping him with. That's why they have to keep him there. And the only person who's demented is him. We know he's senile. He's a doddery old git who's senile. And this person...
I noticed you've said git 3 times because you're trying to flex your British bona fides while both of you who live under a monarchy are telling us how our democracy should run?
Look, I don't care what your political party is, but...
That's a lie. Of course he does.
I don't care who you like for prime minister or president. It's never advisable in a national address to rail in an angry fashion against your fellow citizens.
No.
It doesn't work.
I mean,
well, no, it's these aren't our fellow citizens in that regard. These were insurrections. These people who separated themselves from the United States of America, these are effectively marauders from within. And even still, that's not calling out the rest of like all Trump voters, for example. Very important distinction.
Has Joe forgotten, by the way, Sebastian, that there were 75 million good, honest...
Yeah, none of whom invaded the Capitol. What's your fucking point?
...of the United States of America who took the trouble to go to the ballot and actually vote for Donald Trump. 75 million! You know, it's not like some...
Yeah. Fewer than voted for Biden. None of which were called out on this day. We're talking about a very specific subset of humans. Now, again, the argument keeps showing up that somehow, and they're making it right here, is that Biden is grouping all Trump voters and all Republicans in with the January 6th insurrectionists. He is doing no such thing, nor did he seek to do any such thing. They are. What Gorka and Mike Graham, Captain S'mores, two more s'mores over there are arguing is that those people who stormed the Capitol, who shit in the Capitol, who pissed on the columns, who destroyed artwork, statues, tapestries, stole laptops, attempted to sell them to Russia, threatened to hang Mike Pence, built a gallows, threatened to kill Nancy Pelosi. All those folks are indistinguishable from all the Trump voters. That's their case. That's what he's saying right there. He's saying they're the same people. He goes up there and you insult the people who stormed the Capitol. You are insulting all the people who voted for Trump. These two guys are insisting there is no bifurcation between those groups.
Small minority.
Let's do the math here. I mean, look, if you want to believe that this old man who campaigned from his basement got 80 million votes, fine, I've got a bridge to...
He did. And by the way, he won. And here's the other thing. let's just fantasize for a moment with Gorka that it was flipped around and that there was somehow. Can you imagine being kneecapped by Biden? Losing to Biden for Trump, legit or through chicanery, are both equally embarrassing.
In Connecticut.
And also Biden won legit and fair and square. And these guys can't deal with the fact that their dude lost fair and square to Biden.
But when it comes to the last election, my old boss, Donald Trump, got more votes than any incumbent president in the history of the Republic.
That's because of mail-in voting. That is literally the availability of voting. Early voting and mail-in voting, which Republicans fight nonstop. If it hadn't been for COVID, the turnout aspect of it would have been way lower.
Right. That's just a fact.
Yeah, you would think he would be for mail-in voting.
Is 4 years, you know this, Mike, you've been covering this, of incessantly being called a misogynist, an Islamophobe, a white supremacist, a Nazi.
Yeah.
After 4 years.
Well, I take issue with the whole white supremacist thing because there's no way that Trump looks in a mirror and thinks he's a supremacist. He's a supreme example of anything.
He got 12 million more votes than he did the first time, and he got more Hispanic and Black American votes than any Republican president since the 19th.
Yeah, because of the availability of mail-in votes. That change alone did it. The thing they've been fighting. More people vote, both of those things go up. And interestingly enough, there are conservatives in the Latino community and in the Black community that would like to vote for a Republican, but because of where they live and because of the strategic narrowing of their available voting machines and sites by a lot of the the Republican legislatures of these states, they're like, well, since 85% of the Black people in this area are going to vote for the Democrat, we can stand to lose the 15% that might vote Republican. Fuck them. It's simply the act of making voting available that drove up that percentage. That's it.
60s. That's just the math of the situation. And if you want to piss off 74 million people, go ahead, Sleepy Joe, do it.
Why? Why would castigating the people who shit in our nation's capital upset 74 million people? Are they that weak and stupid? Are they that deluded? Are they that anti-American? Are you making the case that 74 million Americans hate this fucking country and hate democracy? Because most of them stayed the fuck home and griped and planned to vote next time. They didn't storm the Capitol. They didn't threaten anybody's life. Why is that their fucking problem? Why is the assumption that somehow those voters, because they voted Republican or because they voted for Trump, automatically are in line with people who would attack the fucking Capitol? Because I wouldn't make that assertion, but these guys do.
The midterm elections are a few months away.
Yeah, absolutely right. And the point about all of this, surely, is that he's dredging up something that happened a year ago,
Yeah, I mean, it's ancient fucking history. You know, granted, how long did Benghazi go on? And that wasn't an attack on our actual capital. Dredging up stuff, just dredging. It's dredging.
His own mind. Telling people that this was an absolute and utter deliberate attempt by Donald Trump to somehow divide the nation. But he's the one dividing the nation by going on about it, isn't he?
Why? You're the one saying that half of America align with the people who stormed the Capitol. I think most decent Republicans would differ with you on that fact. I mean, again, they are making the case that the majority of Americans Republicans in this country don't like America and don't want it to continue as a democracy.
Absolutely. Look, my producer, my producer Jeff has the best political instincts, bar none.
Yeah, I mean, granted, his political instincts landed him as the producer of the Sebastian Gorka show, which is at the the rectal polyp end of the radio spectrum. But
and I'm trying to understand why this guy's standing up and he's sputtering like an angry old man. And Jeff nailed it on my radio show yesterday. He said, look, he is so tanking in the polls. He has the worst approval ratings of any modern president.
That's interesting. Hold on. Oh, it's not continuing to do that. Biden's approval rating steadies after taking a plunge. Oh, that's interesting. This Biden. Hold on. Get out of here. Whoops. Close. Let's see. There you go. Here you go. Fact check. Does Biden have the lowest approval rating of any president ever? This is the case that has just been made. Lowest PolitiFact's ruling false. It's just, and you don't have to think much of them. They actually back it up with numbers. Near the end of President Joe Biden's first year in office, some social media users are casting doubt his election by comparing the popular vote to poll numbers. He got 80 million votes, more than any president ever, yet has the lowest approval rating of any president ever. Post was flagged as false news. Won more than 81 million votes, 71 million. Here you go. December 20th, NPR, PBS, and Marist poll released a new survey of 2,400 Americans in mid-December. The poll found that Biden's job approval rating was 41%, the lowest score of his presidency. But it's not the lowest approval rating of any president ever, as the Facebook post claims. In November, for example, NPR and the Marist poll released the results of another survey that found Biden's approval rating at 42% among all Americans. When comparing Biden to his predecessor, the latest number is just below the highest approval rating Donald Trump received in our polls during his 4 years in office. The worst Biden has ever done is within the margin of error of Donald Trump. The Gallup Presidential Job Approval Center, drawn from the Gallup polls dating back to the Truman presidency, also shows that Biden doesn't have the lowest approval rating ever. Former presidents Harry Truman, Richard Nixon, Jimmy Carter, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush all had approval ratings below 30%. In October, CNN used the Gallup data to conclude that Biden had the second lowest approval rating of any president that Gallup had measured at that moment in their presidency, about 9 months into the term. Trump had a lower rating of 37%. Looking at the most recent data available from Gallup, that was still true. Trump was at 37% at this point in his presidency. He never got above 44%. Biden hit his lowest at 41/42%, depending on who you ask, at that point, and has stabilized and has been going up. Trump, 37% at the same point in his presidency. 538, which also looks at Biden popularity and how he compares to past presidents, reached the same conclusion. We rate this post false. He's got a 43.1 approval rating. It's coming back up. Disapproval's going down. Let's see. All polls. Polls of likely or registered voters. 43.2 approve in that case. Poll of adults. If you do all adults, he's got a fit. It's even better for him. 42.8 to 50% disapprove. It actually brings it down. Let's see. Where's Trump? There you go. Here's Trump at the 1 year point. 39.5. 41. Almost, it's interesting. Lower, but humping right along at 42% the whole fucking time. Look at that. By the way, 42.5, there's Clinton back down here. And then Clinton in his first year got to 36.8. 37.8 here. So, so here you go. At the same point in their presidency, Biden is at, here you go. Let's just blow this sucker up. Here's Donald Trump. This is this is their approval rating at the same point in their presidency. Here's the last moment of it. At this point, Biden is at 43.1 and Trump was at 39.1. Trump is almost a full 4 points lower, depending on which one you read. He's outside the margin of error, lower if they're going 3%. Does anybody bother to check this shit? Does anybody on Trump's side, anybody, worst ever? Well, if they're the worst ever, then they're better than Trump's at this point. And Trump, by the way, never got us out of Afghanistan. Maybe that's why Trump never actually went through with the infrastructure bill, because he thought it would be unpopular. Trump never cleared 44% approval rating his entire presidency. 44.8 was the highest number he got. 44.8. Never got to 49. Biden started at 55%. Now, after Afghanistan, this is where it dropped down. Day 20. And right here is where it'll start inching back up. Just get used to the idea. And right about here is where they have a problem. Because it's going to stabilize or go up because people are just going to get tired of the narrative. And it won't hold. It just won't. They're going to sell it bad. But he's still doing better than Trump at this point. Matter of fact, I'm just going to take a little picture of that and I'll tweet that out later. Since we can reference this bullshit. Here, this guy. Hey, look, this guy's bullshit's up on his ceiling just like Glenn Beck's. But again, remember these guys. These are two guys who think you should take them seriously. And they are making the case the worst of any president ever. Worst of any president ever. Trump was way worse.
Now he has to secure the base. He has to give red meat to the crazy.
The red meat to the base. Yes, the base being people who don't want our Capitol stormed and shit in.
Of the base who voted for him. And that's all yesterday was. So really it was a kind of suicide mission because this will not help him in the midterm. So listen to this. Kamala Harris, okay, the cackler, also spoke yesterday. She called the insurrection, quote unquote, where one person died, one person who was a Trump voter, a 14-year Air Force veteran, an unarmed woman of about 100 pounds.
No. By the way, the whole unarmed thing with Ashley Babbitt, no. You don't get to bust a window that is being guarded by an armed guard that has been barricaded while they're evacuating members of Congress with a backpack on after 2 pipe bombs have been laid and say she was shot while she was unarmed. That's not how that shit works at all. You don't get to be the fucking first one through the breach in a situation like that and go, I was unarmed. Oh yeah, what were you doing? Just clearing the way for the people with the big guns? What the fuck are you talking about?
Was shot in the neck by a police officer, bled out on camera. Oh, the only fatality was a Trump supporter. She called yesterday.
No, there was another Trump supporter that died as well. She was dying of a drug overdose. She was trampled to death while they were unable to get her any kind of medical help because they didn't really give a fuck.
Equivalent to Pearl Harbor and 9/11, Mike. I'm not.
Yes. Not in their success, not in their damage, but in their attempt to dismantle democracy. Both were attacks on the country as a whole. Again, just because it was a bunch of fuck-ups run by a fuck-up and guided by other fuck-ups. Thanks so much, Enrique. That's lovely. Doesn't mean it wasn't, honest to God, Pearl Harbor was a fuck up. It was horrible, and lots of our soldiers died. But in its attempt, it was a complete failure. There was tons of blowback.
I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? I saw as well Nancy Pelosi, who, if it wasn't for Joe Biden, would be probably the single oldest person ever to represent anybody anywhere. It's like something out of the Addams.
Yes, and imagine, that's the thing about old people, is that they're in ill health and can't think clearly.
You know, the way these people knock around. She was banging on about praying and having vigils and, the most frightening experience of her life and all of that. And, I'm sure it wasn't pleasant, but I mean, this was a bit of a rabble. These were people who were very angry, quite rightly, you might say, because they felt as though something had gone wrong, but they were certainly not in any.
They built a fucking gallows, dum-dum. They were chanting that they were going to hang the vice president, and these were people who were fans of the administration. What the fuck do you think they were going to do to the Democrats in there if they made it? If they hadn't been cleared out? They had zip ties, dumb fuck. It wouldn't have been pleasant. I mean, it might have been a little tight around your wrists until such time as they bludgeoned you to death.
Shape or form about to radically change the democratic process of American politics, were they?
Not in the slightest. There were a bunch of who.
There were a bunch of what?
I was there in the front row listening to President Trump on that day, who said, we're going to, quote, march peacefully and patriotically to Congress to make sure our representatives do their job. That's all that he wanted.
No. He said, but when we get down there, you're going to have to fight like hell, or we're not going to have a country left. Basically, you need to go down there quietly, or they will call the police. They will call in the National Guard. So you got to walk down there and act like you're there to behave. And then as soon as you get there, it'll be too fucking late.
Then some hooligans got out of hand. We still don't know who exactly they were. It's very interesting.
Yeah, you do. 400 of them have been charged already. 400 have been jailed. 700 have been charged. Plus, we know who they are. Fucking MTG and Matt Gaetz have been visiting them in jail, fucko. Of course you know who they are. Yeah, but they didn't want to be there. They beat cops because some Antifa dude talked them into it.
That 3 of the people on the FBI's most wanted list after they hunted. Oh, yeah, that's great. Those nuns, those insurrectionist nuns. 3 of the people on the FBI. Dangerous. The 3 of the people on the FBI's most wanted list after they hunted down these Trump supporters suddenly
The storm is here. Trump won. Biden lost. Patriots versus what?
Disappeared from the FBI's wanted list.
Steelers. I see. Patriots versus the Steelers. Yeah, okay.
Why is that? I mean, we want questions asked and we want them answered. We don't want a witch hunt. And on top of that, we just don't want double standards.
There's a dude did you see the Q flag?
3 hours. We had the first Republican riot in the history of the Republic for 3 hours. Okay, what about the summer of BLM?
Yeah, they attacked targets. That would never affect the ability for us to count electoral votes and proceed with the peaceful exchange of power in the country. And comparing the two is equally as offensive. This motherfucker thinks that the Capitol building is just another Target. It's just another, shopping mall. Just another hair salon. Fuck it.
Antifa. For months, we had 1,000 law enforcement officers wounded. We had $3 billion worth of damage done to American businesses.
Yeah. And at no point did a Democrat say, walk down there peacefully and patriotically. But if those cops don't do what you want, you're going to have to fight like hell or you're not going to have a country left. Find one.
And we had 40 people killed, Mike, across the country in the name of social justice. Half of them were black, like this retired police captain, David Dorn, who went to his buddy's store.
Well, and people are going to jail for it. The FBI is looking into the people who cross state lines to go to those places. They actually coordinated across state lines. That's the federal system. And then the state and local forces are getting people that live in their state who did this shit. That's standard law enforcement stuff. Protesting is a natural part of the country, but at no point did they seek to overturn our functional government in that way?
Protected from the rioters is shot and bleeds out on Facebook, and he's a black police officer helping his buddy. Let's not have double standards. Kamala Harris, I tweeted it out last night. If you got
you do have a double standard. There's two standards in this area. You should, because other people who are breaking the law are got away with it, or you perceive them, they didn't get away with it, but you perceive them to. Your people should be allowed to get away with it.
Your guys don't believe me. Go to my Twitter feed, Seb Gorka.
Yeah.
She tweeted out last summer her.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're still on Twitter. You haven't been kicked off. I thought all conservatives have been broomed from social media. I thought it was a big thing of censorship, and nobody's free to speak anymore.
To raise funds for the rioters' bail. The vice president is raising.
No, for protesters' bail, people who were scooped up unnecessarily, not the people who created violent acts or were engaged in violent acts. That's the separation. You guys are conflating those two. In the same way that you conflate the average Republican voter with people who would shit in the Capitol, in the people's house, or attack a cop with a... Because to Gorka, the standard run-of-the-mill Republican voter would, if given half a chance, attack a Capitol police officer with a Blue Lives Matter flagpole and try to tase them to death with their own gun with their own taser before stealing their gun and killing them. That's standard Republican operating procedure, according to Seb Gorka.
Let's have some fair play here, and let's have the same treatment for BLM and Antifa rioters as we did for the handful of...
I mean, fuck, we've covered these things. They are. The FBI's looking for all of them. They've arrested a bunch of them. And by the way, the FBI isn't looking for the ones that are inside the state unless they particularly attacked a state building or a federal building. And even still, that's up to the local prosecutor. That in some ways is a Portland issue or a Seattle issue if they were letting people out because they were afraid to look bad, instead of holding people who were charged with dangerous shit.
Who went crazy for a couple of hours a year ago.
Yeah, and that's entirely correct, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, there are people who are buying some of this stuff. You know, I've been seeing some people posting various things on Facebook and other places where they genuinely believe that America is somehow in peril now because of some secret plot which is being hatched somewhere deep in the...
Well, no, for the record, you're right. I don't think we're in danger at all. Because you're a loser, he's a loser, Trump's a loser, the people who stormed the Capitol are fucking losers. They're never going to be able to pull it off. It was always going to be a failed cuckoo. It was never going to amount to shit. It was just awful and violent and terrible. Their attempt was fucked up. But they're not going to be successful. They aren't. They were never going to be successful. They thought they were. That's why they felt free to beat cops near to death. That's why they felt it was their right to break windows and storm into the Capitol, because they thought Trump had their back, and he has no one's back, not even his own. And these fuckers are, third-tier Trumpies. Not going to happen either. We have nothing to fear from these dipshits. Nothing.
Of Mar-a-Lago, where there's kind of, Doctor Strange, the Penguin, all sorts of characters who are sitting around there plotting. Yeah, Blofeld's there with his cat, the whole thing. But, I mean, actually, this is genuinely modern-day American democratic politics now.
Dude, which is obviously bullshit. Why don't you just talk about the deep state now? Listen, dipshits. Can I step in here for a second? Because this softball bullshit's driving me crazy. Like, if you're gonna... Come on, man. Come on. You're gonna do an interview, ask some fucking questions. I mean, I'm watching these two guys, gargle each other's balls in the only way they possibly could, because logistically, physically, an impossibility. But please, there's nobody's fucking around. There's no big plot to attack the Capitol, even though there fucking well was, and they even called it the War Room at the fucking Willard, right? There's nobody. But tell me about the deep state. Yeah, it's a big conspiracy, and George Soros is running the whole fucking thing.
Let me.
Blow me out if I have a candle in me. If I do, it's your birthday, and you don't deserve me anyways.
Another British channel yesterday, and they said, "Well, this is America's so divisive now." Excuse me. My parents, as kids, suffered under fascist occupation.
Yeah.
My dad was persecuted.
And with any luck, you will again. If your dreams come true, keep believing, Sub Gorka. Instead, keep the hope alive that one day you'll install a fascist dictator and you can suffer under it as well. I mean, you'll do well for a little while, but that's the thing with fascists and commies is that eventually it's the friendlies that go up against the wall.
Tortured and imprisoned by the communists that replaced the Nazis. I don't like countries where you're not allowed to disagree. I don't want...
This dude, by the way, I'm going to go out on a limb as a cupcake and say, stay the fuck away from me, buddy. You're drinking so much water. I'm thinking diabetes. I don't know where I'm getting that idea, but I'm just saying, unless you're having to take horse pills on a fucking schedule and they're hard to swallow. Jesus.
A unitary nation where there's one opinion and there's no division, because that's called a dictatorship. I'm not excusing what happened with the hooligans, but I want a nation where there is robust and vigorous disagreement, because that's how a republic works.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. That we want vigorous debate. That's why all the Republicans vote lockstep to stop anything they don't like, and anybody who veers outside the lines is considered a traitor. Not just somebody who has a difference of opinion but still has good, strong conservative values. No, Liz Cheney is a traitor to the United States and to the Republican Party because she doesn't buy all of Jim Jones's fucking Jordan, whatever the fuck his name is. Who cares?
As far as the whole state of the nation is concerned, Sebastian, I mean, how goes Verizon Gate, for example? The last time you and I spoke, they were trying to find out how many pizzas you'd ordered on.
I was on, for the record, I was on with technical support with Verizon all fucking day. True story. And I felt bad for the guy. It was a technical issue, and the dude was busting his ass. And I just want to say thank you, Verizon, and the guy who helped me out. It's fucked up. It was a lot of work. You were ice skating uphill, and you did great. Don't let any people who angrily yell at you like the shit tech issues are easy to fix. Tell them Red Cupcake said fuck off.
What's going on with that?
Yes, so last time we spoke, I discussed this late Christmas present I got from Verizon from their subpoena compliance department, where they said, we don't care about your First Amendment rights.
Yeah, you might want to open it, might want to read it. If you bring a sealed envelope, I'm going to guess you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I got this thing, it's in here. Trust me, what it says. I'm not going to do what it says. What does it say? I don't fucking know. I assumed what it said, so I didn't open it.
Giving out all your phone metadata to Nancy's witch hunting Congress, which is interesting because it says every phone associated with the account. That's my wife. That's my kids. And I said, well, what do I do about it?
Well, and next time, separate your shit, dummy. Don't drag your family into your criminal empire. Ask your cartel buddies from Europe about that shit. You run two separate lines. Get a burner like Rudy Giuliani.
You're crazies, but I changed my mind. I spoke to a former U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia who said, you can't let them get away with this garbage.
Yeah, call the District of Colombo. He's got a lazy eye, but and he's always got one more question, but he's good to work with.
Hired some not inexpensive lawyers, and on Tuesday we filed a 22-page motion to quash.
That's like $10,000 a page. Money well spent, fucko.
The whole thing at my new website, gorka.locals.com. And guys, I don't like lawyers in general. These people...
You didn't buy gorka.com a long time ago? The fuck?
You nailed it. Dave, you nailed it. The committee is illegal because we don't have any Republicans chosen by the Republican Party, which is illegal.
Nailed it. This dude couldn't nail a knot in a tree.
An investigative committee. And number two, it is a complete arrogation of my First Amendment rights to privacy and my Fourth Amendment rights. The Constitution is clear. You are protected as an American.
No. If you engage in criminality with other people who are engaged in criminality and you get swept up, if they get their phone under a legit thing and your texts show up on their shit involved in criminality, they get another warrant for that and then they get you. This isn't even fucking difficult, fucko.
Against undue search and seizure, giving over my phone data.
That's true. Unreasonable, first of all, not undue, dipshit. But I'm glad you're paying for those big fancy lawyers. Did they teach you that word? Did they say it was undue instead of unreasonable? This is the problem is you can't say unreasonable because this is totally fucking reasonable because they've gotten other people and you were in communication with those other people and those people were engaged in criminality and you were engaged in talking about that criminality. So they got another fucking like this. The fucking lazy. Call your lawyer. He'll charge you $300 to call you a dumbass and hang up.
I haven't been accused of a crime. I was listening to my boss, my former boss, in the front row of the speech at the Ellipse. I guess that's a crime now, Nancy. But as I said earlier, they chose the wrong guy because my parents have suffered true oppression. My father died.
Well, yes, they had you as a son.
With the scars of the secret police tortures on his body. So I gave a big speech where I said, Nancy.
So your dream is to make sure other people feel those things?
Bring it, because I'm ready. Yeah. I would relish. My lawyers say they're probably going to subpoena you. I am just waiting. I'm itching.
And Greg, don't worry about it. We love you.
Like to be in the same room with people like Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, and give them a bit of what for it.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
Then do it, you dipshit. What the fuck? You get to talk a big fucking game. And then you're like, these people. And then I'm going to fight the subpoena. Don't fight it then. Go stand up. You got nothing to be afraid of. Go sit there. Give them what for, dum-dum. Yeah, I want to give them a piece of my mind. But, I'm not going to testify on principle. It's the principle of the thing. Principally that I'll go to jail if I have to say shit under oath.
Envy their task, but I would certainly watch it, that's for sure. But I mean, for lawmakers, they seem pretty ignorant of the U.S. Constitution.
They don't care. They just ride roughshod over it and trap.
Then what's the hard part? They don't even need the fucking subpoena. Volunteer it. Why do they have to subpoena your records? You knew you were in contact with the president on that day and people at the Willard? How about this? Why the fuck do they even have to ask?
Why? Because for them, what else do they have? Think about what's happened. The border is open.
They got like 300 people that they're keying up for indictment, including the former president. That's what they have. What do they have? I'll tell you what they have. They have fucking forged documents that say that Trump won the election from 2 states. Did you see that shit? Holy hell. Let me grab that. I got that shit in here somewhere. Hold on. I know. I don't have to tell you. Here you go, dum-dum. Check this shit out. There you go. Somebody forged documents saying that Trump actually won the Michigan electoral votes. Look at this. For president, Trump, Mike Pence. Here's all these signatures. These are all fake. Forged fucking documents. Ladies and gentlemen, because they love America. They wrote this shit up and they tried to get it sent down. We, the underside, duly elected, qualified electors, which they fucking well aren't. And then they forged their fucking signatures. For America.
2 million illegal immigrants. We've got the highest inflation since 1991. Record high.
No. We do not have the highest inflation since 1991. Not even fucking close. Gas prices are down from 2014.
Prices on and on. We've got 4 million people who decided to.
America is the number one liquid natural gas exporter in the whole fucking world for the first time ever under Joe Biden.
On the dole last month. I mean, ask anybody here with a business. You can't hire people because they're getting checks to stay at home.
No. The checks are fucking gone, dum-dum. They don't have to work. People are getting a wage increase, so sometimes partners can now, here's a fucking flip your switch. Stay home and watch the kids. You know, all those conservative family values you fuckos have been talking about all this goddamn time. Now it actually can play out.
From the China virus. Yeah. It's a disaster. Right. Kamala Harris's approval ratings are in the...
Who cares? The fucking case rate is up because Omicron is very contagious. The death rate and the hospitalization rate is in the fucking basement. It's working.
20s, Mike. Low 20s. So we have a party that has nothing to run on in the middle.
Hey, tell you what. Hey, fucko, I had a good idea. Tell you what. When Kamala Harris's favorability ratings get in the people from her own party storming a fucking building yelling for her to be hung, then we'll talk.
So what are they going to do? They're going to subpoena Gawker's phone records, and they're going to talk about the quote-unquote insurrection.
Yeah. Don't worry, fucko. We don't think you're important. Don't think for a second we actually think you're important. We just know that other assholes who might be higher up the chain contacted you or through you, and they're going to use your phone records and your testimony to confirm or deny some of that shit. You're not valuable.
They have nothing else to run on.
No. Meanwhile,
well, they kind of do. Like, have you seen the unemployment rate? Have you seen the wage increases? Have you seen the infrastructure bill? Any of that shit? They don't have anything else to run on, do they? No? All right.
I see that people are being arrested for taking their children to a restaurant. Did you see those videos? Unbelievable, right? What's going on?
This is a little bit personal for me because before I joined the...
Have another drink of water. I would suggest limiting your sugar intake. I'm going with insulin shock.
House. I did counterterrorism training for law enforcement, for the FBI and for state and local, and I've trained thousands of guys.
Oh, so that's how they managed to get into the Capitol.
Counterterrorism stuff. And to see somebody with a badge and a gun arrest a kid in a burger joint because you don't have vaccine papers. Look, they've said it for years about...
It's a city fucking ordinance, dummy. What does that have to do with Biden?
Abortion, the 40 million kids that have been killed in the womb in the United States.
Like you give a fuck in the ones that are born. Tell you what, you get adoption and orphanages and school lunches and medical care for children and all this shit. You get all that sorted out. Then you can talk to me about why women won't carry a baby to term. You lock up all the fucking rapists. How many rapes have there been in Texas since Abbott said he was going to get rid of it? 3,000?
Wade. And I say to them now, my body, my choice. You can't have medical...
Ew. Don't talk about your body. You're going to cause this dude to have bulimia.
And the saddest thing is, look at the stinking figures, guys. The mortality rate for kids, just spend 3 minutes on a search engine. The mortality rate for kids from COVID isn't 5%, isn't 1%. It is 0.05. So what the hell are you doing?
Well, with Omicron, it actually went up, dum-dum. That's the concern. That the moment you let your guard down, that's when it sweeps in and wipes them the fuck out. They're being cautious because they actually give a fuck. They actually care. You don't give a fuck. You're like, you got it, yeah. You lose a couple, dozen thousand kids. You use 40,000 kids and you fuck them. You know what I mean? You're going to lose them anyways, right?
Closing schools, putting masks on them. And now I went into a shop, Mike, where I refused.
And by the way, closing schools, the fuck? Let's see. Closing school. Are they closing the schools again? Really? Is that what Biden's saying? There you go. Yeah, maybe there's something wrong with my reading comprehension. Fuck off with this later. Biden. Yeah, you know how Democrats are. with the whole, and I can understand this kind of story. You see this in the news. It's a little, what does it really mean? It's a little, it's on the fucking fence. How do I even? Where do I even? What do I even? No? If I can keep the schools open so we know where to arrest all the kids. That's what he's doing. Jesus.
A mask. And the young woman behind the counter said, put a mask on now because I can't get my kids vaccinated because they're under 5. And I thought, hang on a second. You're a young, healthy woman and you've got like 3-year-olds you want to vaccinate? Are you nuts?
I know.
Are you crazy?
No. Hold on. Fucking hell. Unbelievably rare. And yet it happened. Jesus.
It's absolutely extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, I've got terrible news this morning. I mean, luckily she seems to be okay, but a friend of mine and Kevin O'Sullivan's had a heart attack last night, was unable to get an ambulance. So the husband, another friend of ours, drove her to hospital. As he's literally supporting her, walking into the doors of the A&E, they're asking them to put masks on.
Oh my God.
Can you believe that?
No, that's just that's when you know it's a cult. It's just a flipping cult. And stop living in fear. This is what saddens me is somebody who grew up in the UK, who grew up under Maggie, who was proud to be living in Britain. What the flip has happened to the nation of Winnie, the Churchill, the Tommies? We will fight them on the beaches. Really, Mike, come on, let's get a grip. Brexit showed the way. The British people are still there. The heart and gold of this nation is still there. But this genuflection to the cultic, it's like Fauci here. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, wear 3 masks. Now you're going to have to be boosted every 6 months. Yeah. It's sheer insanity. They are science. They say we're science deniers. They're the science deniers. I've had COVID. I have more antibodies than any vaccine will ever give me. And I'm just not afraid, Mike.
No. I think most people are in that place, even those who might have been afraid this time last year, because this time last year was a different game. And I think we are now. I mean, there's some fantastic news today. Richard Tice was here with me this morning. There's a couple of schools up in the north of England where the kids are saying, we're not wearing masks. Stick them where the sun don't shine. And that's how we're going to get out of it,
They should be the advisors to Downing Street. Those kids, the health policy advisors to Downing Street. That's my vote.
Yeah, absolutely right. Listen, well, Sebastian, good luck with the legal case. I'm sure you won't need it. And do tell us if you are going to be appearing.
Yeah, he fucking will. And these assholes don't give a rat fuck if Omicron is the version that just kills babies. They don't give a rat fuck.
For the beak, because we would like to probably cover it and take it live.
I'm going to make it a pay-per-view event. If they subpoena me, that's going to be a pay-per-view event, Mike. Cheers.
Superb. Listen, have a good...
No, it won't, fucko. It'll be on public television. It'll be on C-SPAN for fucking free, dummy. And it won't even rate. You'll be sweating the whole time. He'll drink more water than this fuckhead. He'll answer 15 questions, hand over a bunch of documents, and be broomed like the asshole he is. Get used to the idea. Hi, you're watching me, Hal Sparks Megaworldwide live stream. I'm on every weekday from 3 to 5, approximately. I mean, I'm hanging around a little extra today. It's true. It's just true. There was a piece that I wanted to do. Let's see if I can find this stupid thing. It'll be in here. Hold on. Because there's so much. There's just so much. Let's see. Let's see if I find this. Let's see. Videos in here. Let's see. Yeah, here you go. This is, I don't know how much of this is worth doing all the way through. This is a guy named Kyle Kalinske. He does he calls himself Secular Talk, which is kind of ironic because secular, essentially like tips at the idea of being respectful of other beliefs while having your own, and that doesn't seem to be the case with the Kyle Kalinske clan. And he put up this video. I haven't watched it, but the title caught my eye. Biden is fucked. 161,000 views on this thing. He's got 973,000 subscribers. And he like Jimmy Dore, like to some degree Russell Brand, are making their bones by dragging the administration while it does stuff that allegedly they're for. Yeah, the Kyle Kalinske clan. But the title of this is Biden is fucked. And I would like to see why he seems to think so.
Joe Biden is toast. That's
all right. That'll settle it. So he's toast. He's done. Biggest infrastructure bill in 30 years. Rescue package. Wages going up for the first time in ages. By the way, a more diverse panel of judges. This is probably what it is. This is probably what do you think the biggest problem? Judges diversity. This is probably the part that really upsets Kyle, I guess, the most. This is probably why he's toast. I mean, like I said, we'll see as we do this bit. Biden's judicial picks reflect nation's diversity. That's probably the worst thing. That's why he's toast. Right? Is he fucking toast?
It very gently and kindly and as soft as I can. We have some new poll numbers that just came out, so let me go ahead and throw this up on the screen for you.
Okay, these are new poll numbers. His approval rating now stands at 44%, which is up from what we showed earlier in the show, is up. It was at 41, now it's at 44, and is now at the highest point Trump's ever was. But we'll see if he gets to that.
This is from The Hill. They say President Biden's disapproval rating reached a new high in December, according to a new CNBC Change Research poll. Overall, the survey showed 56% of voters disapproved of Biden's performance in office, an uptick from 54% in September.
Still within the margin of error.
49% in April. His approval rating now stands at 44%. Now, that's the lowest.
Which is up 3%, which is higher than the margin of error.
This particular poll, by the way, I should be clear about that. Biden was particularly hard hit when it came to the public's opinion of his handling of the economy and the COVID-19 pandemic. Specifically.
Okay, and what's the part that Kyle hates most? I'm curious. What's the bad part of the economy? Is it the 3.9% unemployment rate? Is it the rising wages? Is it that workers seem to have choice for the first time in decades?
Poll indicated that 60% of respondents disapproved of Biden's handling of the economy and 55% disapproved of his pandemic response. For the economy, 72%.
Yeah, that's because a big chunk of people think there should be a mandate, and a huge chunk of people who voted for Trump don't believe that in vaccines at all.
Said they disapprove of Biden's management of the price of everyday goods, and 66% said they did not.
They do realize that he does not manage the price of everyday goods, right? And that COVID happened. But okay, never mind.
Of the president's.
I'm sure Kyle will come to the defense of the current Democratic Party and those who are trying to make it better for average Americans all over the place, and have taken a lot of hits trying to do what's best for the environment, even when it causes a slight rise in and fuel prices. I'm sure it's the tough work that needs to be done.
To help their wallets. Now, Biden used to do very well on the issue of the pandemic. He used to have very high grades on the issue of the pandemic. Now that's tanked, and it's tanked because of the Omicron surge, where we have, a record number of cases every single day rolling in. Now, hospitalizations are going up, but they're still not, past the Delta peak, or maybe even the original peak, because, we have such a large percentage of the population is vaccinated. So when a lot of people get Omicron, it's more just, standard cold symptoms.
You mean Biden's plan worked and it's a good thing? I'm sure he'll bail him out.
But there's still plenty of people who are unvaccinated. So there is an uptick in hospitalizations, and I'm sure deaths are rising.
No, there is not an uptick in hospitalizations. There's a trackable amount, and the large portion of them, if they aren't already, if people are vaccinated, they might be hospitalizations go up, but they go home because they check in, they're there for a day, and they're fine because they had it before, and they've got comorbidities, or they've got Delta, and they aren't vaccinated, and that's why they're in there, and it's not part of Omicron.
As well, and they might rise even more, but the other day we had over 1 million official cases. Now, understand also, official cases are not a true indicator of the actual number of Omicron cases happening in this surge, because I know plenty of people who've gotten Omicron who were never counted in any official statistics because they didn't go get any official PCR test. Maybe they took a rapid test, maybe they didn't, but,
Most of the PCR and rapid tests have an app that goes with them. It tracks you anonymously. It says whether or not it was positive or negative. It asks you to track it. They generalize on that. They overshoot the number and undershoot it depending on where they're counting from. Ugh.
So plenty of people get it, and then they're not part of the official statistics. So when they say it's like 1 million cases a day, Lord knows how many more there actually are floating around out there. So on the issue of the pandemic, which used to be a strong suit, now that's imploded. On the issue of the economy, it's fun.
And by the way, and are you making the case that it should? It seems to be that Kyle is making the case that Biden's numbers on it should tank, not because he didn't get people vaccinated so that when the wave came, people aren't dying or being hospitalized. That it should tank because Omicron is a reinfecting version of it, even though it's milder and the case rate is going up. He should take this hit in the polls, according to Kyle Kulinski. He deserves this attack. Biden deserves the bad press he's getting, even though it's the sheer number of people who've been vaccinated that are keeping the death rate and hospitalization rate down. But he's fucked because Kyle thinks this is happening and it's legit and it's a reasonable criticism.
The news is trying to hype up this idea that, well, the stock market is doing well. But as I tell you guys all the time, the stock market is not a great indicator of how your average American is doing. So it's not something that I like to talk about.
It didn't used to be. And then retail investors came in. And now it's all over the fucking place. To the point where even the guys on CNBC and Market Watch and all these places are going, the market's crazy. Because there's enough retail investors who aren't day trading, who don't give a fuck about, the shaving points version of playing in the internet or in the market. And so they just buy a stock in a company they think will have legs and sit on it. Or they sell out of something if it's not doing well, but in very limited amounts. Or they'll take a little bit of wins since shit has gone up around Christmas and make it drop down a couple points. Then it goes right back up again because the point drops down and everybody else who didn't own that before but wants to buy some buys the dip. Because retail investors using Robinhood and all this other stuff. And there's no way this motherfucker doesn't do the exact same thing.
Under Republican presidents or...
And I don't know what the mental institution Nazi haircut is about. I don't get it. I think this is constant with him. I don't know what's happening there. It's like he needs place for the electrodes or something.
Presidents. I don't want to give credit for something that's not a true indicator of the health of your average American. So they could try to push that narrative all they want, and the Biden administration is trying to lean on the idea that the market is doing well, but that's really not a good argument. It's just not.
Why? Because most stocks used to be owned by either large corporations or big robber baron types or cigar chomping fat dudes in the 1950s. You're just going to pretend cell phones don't exist. We're just going to operate as if nothing changed. Right.
So he's really got nothing going on for him right now. Now, Joe Biden had recently said,
nothing going on. Again, nothing going on. By the way, you know how Trump gets all this credit for all these judges he's had cleared? He got cleared in his years as president. Biden has already beat his first year number. Already. How about, let's see. What else? Here we go. Hold on. Let's see. U.S. Department of Labor. In 2021, unemployment rates fell for most demographics, but remain significantly higher for Black and Hispanic workers than for white workers. But we can't achieve a full and inclusive recovery until we tackle longstanding and persistent systemic inequities. Now, did the U.S. Department of Labor tweet anything even remotely like that when Donald Trump was president? Do you think they gave a rat fuck? Did they talk about it in those terms? Do you think this doesn't have something to do with who's in office now? 3.2, 4.9, Asian 3.8, Black is 7.1. Currently, uniforms 3.9 across the country. Going down in all areas. Nothing to be happy about. Let's see. Let's see. Savings are up, but New Year's resolutions bring financial requirements. According to a new survey from Citibank conducted by the Harris Poll, encouraging 70% of Americans are saving the same amount or more money compared to last year. Despite prioritizing the saving, 49% plan to make a resolution plan to purchase something, such as a material item or subscription service, to maintain their 2022 New Year's resolutions, like gym memberships, shit like that, signaling a potential concern of balancing savings goals with spending temptations. Right, that's what they always say. 70% are saving as much or more as the year before. Yeah, Kyle got me on a clickbait title. Totally true, Shet Pants.
Well, yeah, I get it. My poll numbers are not doing too well right now, but the way it works is the polls go up and the polls go down. So, people might not be feeling too hot about me right now, but check back in a month or 2 months or 3 months and boom, all of a sudden it'll pop back up. That's just the way it works. That's the way it worked with Trump. That's the way it's going to work for me. That's the way it worked with Obama. And what he should be noticing at this point is that is definitely not true. There's not just a
yeah, it is. It's actually up since the other poll we looked at. It was at 41%. Now it's at 44% in his approval rating. And the infrastructure bill hasn't even been put into effect yet. Those jobs have not started yet. And we're already at 3.9%. The dude had just passed a bill to remove all the lead pipes in the nation. Fuck you. If you can't tout these things, you're like, oh, it's the polling is why he's down. This is the only way that this asshole can shit on Biden right now, because the material reasoning is he has, and I don't know if he has the point or the guts to do this, but if he materially goes after Biden, he has to shit on what Biden's actually been doing. And he's so averse to supporting any of it. He's so part of the Trump team in this regard that he must sell bad news for Biden all the time. This is bad news, according to Kyle Kulinski. Because the polls don't reflect it yet. And they never will, because he's putting all these diverse judges in. He passed this infrastructure bill, which Trump said he was going to pass. He got us out of Afghanistan. We are now no longer dumping $300 million a day in Afghanistan or involved in that theater of war at all. But Kyle would rather have us there, involved in drone strikes and having soldiers on the ground and all that kind of shit. He'd rather have us, a Trump-level judgeship every 2 days, filled by some lunatic who's totally unqualified.
A cycle that is inherent to poll numbers when you're talking about the president or any other politician. I mean, for the love of God, we talk about the congressional poll numbers all the time. It varies between like 7 or 8% and 23%. Usually it's high when it's at like 23%. Are they?
Yeah. And as a body, the low poll numbers are how a lot of the locals run it. A lot of people hate Congress, love their congressperson. That's the split in the polls in perception. Has nothing to do with whether people get elected or not.
Have polls that just go up and down and hey, maybe next week it'll be at 84% popularity. No.
They're not counting on that, fucko. They're not just going, well, eventually. Eventually it'll turn around. They're actually doing shit. Well, no, Kyle is part of the group that founded the phrase progressives hate progress. Any progress is bad fucking news because it'll put you out of a job. If this is what you sell for a living, the minute you make any ground, it's bad news. Because if you live off clickbait bullshit titles like this, and this is your whole sales point, we're 4 minutes in and this is all about polling.
That's not the way it works. You actually have to do something, or at least have the appearance of doing something.
Yeah? Is that what you have to do something? Something different? Something that sets you apart from the last party? You have to, let's see. Let's just I'll look one thing up. How about this? Let's not even go with let's not even go with the infrastructure bill, fucko. You have to actually do something. You have to build get an infrastructure bank passed for the first time and have $50 billion worth of seed money in it so it can fund up to $20 trillion of growth in infrastructure over the next 30 years.
Helping people in order for your poll numbers to go up. And
oh yeah, you gotta help people. You gotta pass the infrastructure bill. You gotta pass the reconciliation bill, right? Is that what it is? Because Build Back Better didn't go through on its own, which was the part that they held out and were like, we're just gonna stomp our feet and keep the other bill from passing until ours passes, even though we don't have the votes for our bill. If we let that other bill pass, that's not a win for us, even though it's a win for the entire fucking country. So stomp, stomp, blather, blather.
And look, I'll submit to you guys right now. What the hell's he doing?
Kyle will smoke me on policy. Kyle is the most ignorant person on policy currently on the internet. Kyle is the Dan Bongino of the left.
What's he doing? Well, there is one answer. And, if you want to give him some modicum of credit on this front, I understand, because he just announced something which is an attempt to fight inflation, namely when it comes to meat and when it comes to, it might even be beef in particular. So there's been a giant increase in the price of beef. And the actual reason for that is monopolization. So you have 4 big, I think it's meat packing companies, and they're basically colluding to keep the price high. And so Biden announced, look, we need more competition in order to lower those prices. And so he's doing a $1 billion initiative to try to, have other meat producers and other meat packers who are smaller in size have the government.
It's part of the Indie Farm initiative. Yeah, we fucking know.
Subsidize them so that you can.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why we elected him. He talked about it during the fucking campaign.
More competition, therefore destroying the monopolies' hold on the game.
Hold on. First of all, it's not a monopoly if there's 4 of them. If there's price fixing, that's illegal. They're not technically price fixing. You're talking out of your ass. There's 4 main producers. the indie producers are always fighting uphill to get stuff to market without having to go through them. And then they can argue about what they're going to pay for stuff and fight over. It's not even they're calling each other up. Set the price at $25 a fucking pound. They're not. They're just fighting for a limited slice of the pie, and then they can muscle each other by buying big swaths of it from people at once. Good Lord.
And
beef.
so is that a good idea? Sure. I mean, it's a step in the right direction, but I mean, listen, even under best case.
Biden only got progressive votes by promising a ton of shit, so now we just forget that, Hal. What did he promise that he isn't delivering? That he can do himself, or that he's fighting for in Congress. He's still fighting for all the stuff in Congress. He still has to get it through there. Still got to get it fucking passed. There is no gun to be held to the head of Kristen Sinema or Joe Manchin. There is none. He's doing everything he can on his own, but you're like, fuck this guy. I'd rather have Trump in there ruining the whole thing.
This
I'd rather
is like
have
a
him in there.
long-term approach to try to deal with inflation. Now, some numbers came out the other day, too. This was mind-blowing. 60% of inflation is going to corporate profits. So, in other words, that Business Insider...
What? 60% of it is gas and used cars. Corporate profits. You mean the companies that didn't make any profits and were working at a deficit and now have to hire people back? What are they doing with those profits? Honestly. Are they doing stock buybacks? Are gas companies doing stock buybacks by being 43% of inflation?
Article that we covered on this show a while back, which said, hey, listen, there are outlets like Walmart that they're just jacking up their prices, even if these particular goods are not necessarily caught up in the supply chain crisis, so there is no natural inflation with it. They're using inflation as an excuse to jack up their prices. Now that's happening in an even more widespread way. So really the only way that...
More widespread than Walmart? And by the way, what the fuck is where is it that the Democrats are suddenly like pro Walmart price jacking?
Handle inflation is to take on the corporations directly. Sure, the idea that Biden floated is fine, but you need to enforce our antitrust laws. You need to actually crack down.
We don't have, there's no trust to bust, motherfucker. There's... Walmart and Amazon are direct competitors. Half the shit can be bought on Alibaba or on fucking eBay at this point. Are we supposed to break up Etsy?
Using our anti-monopoly laws on the books. You got to break up some companies.
There are no monopolies. These aren't monopolies. That's the point. There's like 5 different giant corporations. They're not monopolies.
And you have to do it now. And you know, the other thing is,
and what are you going to do? Break up Walmart? That's going to solve it. We break up Walmart, which is, by the way most Americans get cheap goods. You break up Walmart in most of these like hard to reach places, the price goes up. That's how they got where they were. They undercut prices. They own the trucking. They sell cheaper. Walmart is not some place you go for a premium price. That's the cheap place, and it's staying cheap. What the fuck is he talking about?
Yes, the supply chain is what's to blame for the rest of the crisis. So you have corporate profits,
right?
You have monopolies.
By the way, what corporate profits? What are you talking about? You talking about stock buybacks from other companies like fucking Wells Fargo or something? Or are you talking about them hiring more workers now? What do you do with profits? You either expand, or I guess you could. The idea is that they hoard it. Seriously, what's a profit more than, like, all growth comes from profit? It has to. If you don't have any profit, you're not expanding, you're not growing, you're not hiring more people, you're not opening more stores, period. You just aren't. If it took the same amount of calories on your fork to lift your hand to your fucking mouth, you would die. You couldn't heal or fix anything, and you couldn't grow at all. You would stagnate. You would starve to death. If it took 800 calories, if you had 800 calories on a fucking fork, and it took 800 calories worth of energy expansion to get it to your mouth, that's zero profit. And I still don't know why the fuck Biden is to blame for the prices at Walmart, which are allegedly up because beef? What the fuck?
But then you also have the supply chain crisis, which is still a crisis, which, you should be doing more to address. Do they have people work?
You should? How should he? What should he do? Tell me what he should be. Yeah, he's a Trump aggressive.
Around the clock at some of these ports that are backed up and clogged, but there should be more resources that are done.
Wait, hold on. Premiered January 5th. Fuck, this sounds like it was recorded in August.
To this issue. And you got to do something now. That's the point. And one of the other problems with Biden is that even if he does something that's good, which is rare, he has no idea.
By the way, that's just because Kyle thinks that a more diverse judiciary is bad. That more people working is bad. That environmental changes are bad. Kyle thinks removing all the lead pipes from the United States are bad. Kyle thinks expanding broadband to rural states is bad. Kyle thinks a smart grid is bad. Kyle thinks moving from coal and as a fuel source through natural gas to renewables over the course of a 20-year plan to get us to net zero is bad.
Market it, how to sell it, Trump.
Motherfucker, you're in the marketing arm. This is what he does. You sell progressive ideas. You present them to the world. You try to motivate people to change and to favor certain policies. And then when they fucking happen, you're like, yeah, but fuck it. I mean, it's not really real, and fuck it. And it's not going to work, and probably not. And he didn't even mean to do it. Somebody forced him to do it. He didn't want to do it. Jesus Christ.
It was a terrible president, but one of the things he would always do is put on the show to make.
Oh, yeah, Trump was terrible. He never got infrastructure passed, but he talked about it. He kept saying it was infrastructure week, and that's better.
Remember when he was doing those COVID daily?
Yes, where he said stick a light bulb up your ass and drink bleach. Yeah, that was very effective. And did you notice he lost the election by 8 million votes?
Things, and he would go out there and say, "We're doing wonderful. We have this under control. We're fighting. We're making therapeutic."
Yes, and it's why he lost the election, because he went out there and talked shit and did nothing. This is your advice?
It's great. And sometimes, since he's so much of an idiot, he screwed it up because he'd go out there and say, maybe if we get some sunlight inside the body, or if you get some bleach inside the body, then maybe that'll help. So, he's dumb, so that came back to bite him in the ass. But at least there was the appearance.
But at least there were weird right-wing channels that would support him everywhere, like you're doing. Why doesn't Biden have people supporting what he's trying to do when it's good? Because he doesn't come out and blow shit at everyone? God damn.
Of being a leader and doing something. Andrew Cuomo, back when he had his highest approval ratings. Now, granted, this guy's a scumbag and a criminal, and everything is...
Granted. So is everybody you like a fucking scumbag and a liar? Is that the prerequisite? Does Kyle just only like people who are liars? Like, I like it when people lie well. If you actually do work, nobody gives a fuck about that. Nobody cares if you actually do your job. I want to see you do your job or something.
With that guy. But when he did his daily...
Yes, when he did his daily talk during the time that he was shuffling people back into old folks' homes, and that came back to bite him in the ass. Better that, right? So Biden coming out and doing all these speeches, going around the country, talking in, at factories and all this kind of stuff, driving an electric car. I'm sure Kyle covered all that stuff. I'm sure he went, finally, he's coming out and showing how cool electric vehicles are and helping America make that shift.
COVID press conferences, people were like, well, now that's a leader. And he had very high approval ratings, the highest in the country when it comes to a governor. Biden even does something good, which is rare. There's very little.
And by the way, what the fuck do you mean, which is rare? I'm dead serious. What the fuck does he think is rare about this stuff? Unless, by the way, Kyle thinks we should still be in Afghanistan. He thinks we should still be there. I mean, what's the other explanation? that the infrastructure bill shouldn't have been passed, that the rescue package was unnecessary and stupid and didn't help anybody, even though it salvaged millions of jobs and people's livelihoods and in many ways their lives. How about reaching a vaccination level where when Omicron hit, there were enough people vaccinated where it's basically just a cold for them? Saving people all during Delta because of the same thing, which is rare. It's we're less than a year into his presidency.
Bragging about it, marketing it, letting everybody know there's an adult in charge, showing it. So what are you going to do?
Hey, fucko, what are you going to do? Because you're the one sitting here going, when he does anything right, it's fucking rare. Why don't you sell your shit so I don't have to? What? Even if he did, even if Biden came out and went, look what I did. Fucking stock market, boom. Unemployment, 3.9%, boom. Narrowing the gap between black people and white people and Asians and Hispanics and boom. 70% vaccinated, boom. Kids back in school, boom. Like when it just comes out and do this asshole would come out and go, who's Biden think he is? He's turning into Trump. That we knew it would happen.
Biden, what are you going to do that impacts right now?
Which is what? Again, I don't know what this magic flip switch is. What? Break up Walmart. Do it now. What? Seriously. That seems to be what he's calling for. Immediately break up Walmart. Because the supply chains, sure, they're real, but they're raising prices at Walmart even though they don't have to. What the fuck?
And remember, he's got his executive order pen, which is incredibly powerful.
And temporary. And he's used it a bunch of times. By the way, has Kyle, I don't need to watch any more Kyle than I'm absolutely bare minimum forced to. But I'm sure he touted all of the executive orders that Biden has done so far. He's like celebrating them, yes?
Fight, do something. Try to cut another stimulus check. Try to
cut another stimulus check. Yeah, that's the way you fight inflation. Dump more cash into the system. Just as the system is righting itself and inflation is part of the problem and they're having to do a taper, cut another stimulus check. Brilliant.
Another stimulus check. Make a big show of it. Trump tried to do that through executive order at one point. You should try to do the same thing. You should call a press conference about it. And if you can't do it through executive order, then try to do it through
You can't write a stimulus check through an executive order. You know what kind of insane country we would live in if the president could just write an executive order? I'm just writing a check to every American. Are you fucking insane?
Through regular order and call the Republicans in and put pressure on them. Do a press conference where you say, look, we need 60 votes.
Yeah, put pressure on them. That seems to work. They all seem to respond to pressure. Use the bully pulpit. Fucking
We're going to get this through. We're going to try to get a $2,000 stimulus check to everybody. I'm here to tell you, I'm on board. Every Democratic senator is on board. And look, we got holdouts.
No, they won't be. It'd be a cash dump, and it would cause more inflation. You want to create jobs for people, not just dump money into the system. Honest to God. What kind of Andrew Yang horse shit is this?
Party. Maybe I could get one or two, but hey, you American people, maybe you should pick up the phone and call these Republicans and tell them you need another stimulus check because I'm ready.
Yeah, do something immediately, like call a press conference and say you're going to write stimulus checks with an executive order, which you don't have the power to do, to put pressure on Republicans so that people will call Republicans and go, hey, earphone, you guys better sign on to another stimulus check or else. What? This doesn't pass for actual thought, does it? Hal, the UBI is the only humane solution. It must become a prerequisite of capitalism. Bullshit. It won't happen. All it does is drive up the price of everything. You dump $1,000 a month into the system, the price of everything goes up $1,000 a month. You get tell you what, you secure nationwide rent control, then we'll talk about UBI. Otherwise, you're fucking out of your mind. It's just true.
willing and waiting to get you another stimulus check. But these guys are obstructionists. These sons of bitches don't want to help the American people in any way, shape, or form. I'm here to help the American people. I'm here to be a leader. I'm here to guide the process. I want to give you $2,000.
That'll work. That's what's happening. That's great. God damn, this is dumb. I'm here to give you $2,000. Just buy your poll numbers back. That'll work. Good Lord.
I want to do that right now. I understand the hurt that's out there. I understand the struggle and the pain that's out there. I understand that people are having a hard time getting...
No, you don't. If you understood the struggle and the pain, you wouldn't think that a $2,000 check would patch the fucking hole at this point. We've done that 3 times already. American savings are up. It's working. Here's a good idea. How about a means tested one where people who are below a certain threshold, like they're making the people at the poverty line, we're going to give them an extra $2,000. If you actually gave a fuck, you would float that kind of an idea. Of course, what it would do is drive up the cost of everything in low-income areas because they knew that money was coming in. It'd be gone as fast as it went in. Unless you put those price controls on, but you could only do it in certain areas. Which you're not going to do because it's illegal. And you can't do it with an executive order, and you'll never pass through the House and the Senate. And if you're going to do something immediately, this is fucking goofy.
I understand what inflation is doing.
Oh, and by the way, Kyle doesn't want it to be means tested, meaning it only goes to poor people. He wants to go to middle class people so they have an extra $2,000 in their pocket so they can send a bunch of it to him.
Your wallet. I understand how bad the economy is for the average Joe and Jane. Well, I'm here to...
The economy is for the average Joe and Jane. The average Joe and Jane. It's 2019 numbers. Let's see. Median household income in the United States is $67,251. Sorry, $521. I read that backwards. It was only down 2%, 2.9% from 2019 during COVID. The only statistical decline caused by COVID. Let's see. 2019 to 20. Yeah. So 20. I don't know where the 2021 figures are. Average income. Yes. Let's go 2021. Average U.S. income 2020, 2021. Assuming a 40-hour work week, the average hourly income of the workers in Q3 2021 comes out at $25.08. Average American income varies between genders, with men taking home about $1,105 a week, about 29% more than a woman's median weekly income of $914. That's all men, all women working part-time and full-time, children, blah, 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 mixed all together. But there you go. Let's see. U.S. Trustee Board of Justice. Family size household income. Let's see. One earner households. Case file. The following table provides median family income data reproduced in a format designed for easy use in completing bankruptcy forms. This is what you get. So in the average 2-person household in Alabama, they bring in $59,818. Average in Alaska is $85,000. Arizona is $69,000 a year. Arkansas is $57,000. California is $82,000. Colorado is $87,000. Connecticut $89,000. Delaware $77,000. DC is $130,000. Florida $65,000. Georgia $67,000. Let's see. Where's we gotta have Vermont in here, right? Where's Bernie's state $73,000 median income. Tennessee $63,000. Texas $70,000. Wyoming $71,000. Single earner households. Lowest one on here is South Carolina at $49,000. And Alabama at $49,191. Louisiana's at 46. Okay, that's actually lower. There you go. Oh, here you go. Maine at 54. Look at that. And 53 in Michigan. 44, 275. There we go. These single earners. I was looking at the wrong column. Meanwhile, 4-person households, people with kids, you're nearing nearly 100,000 in every state, but for 3, $2,000. Throw everybody a $2,000 check. That'll solve it all. Don't means test it so you give it to just the poor people. Send it to everybody. Kentucky is 49 individual, 49 or 41 individual. 2-person households make $58,298. 3 people, meaning 2 people and a kid, usually $67,461. 4 people in a household, wife, husband, 2 kids, usually $81,000 in Kentucky. How would student debt forgiveness stimulate the economy without inflation? No, it would not. There would be inflation from it because you'd get basically the idea is that money spent not paying your interest and your the money that you would pay monthly would go into other things, driving the prices up.
For you, I'm here to do the right thing, and I'm not going to stop until I get it done. But I need your help in the process. Pick up the phone.
Yeah, do something immediately. Call Republicans and talk them into letting me give you $2,000. I mean, there are solutions for stuff, but this is just fucking dumb.
Let everybody know, hey, support President Biden's $2,000 stimulus checks and do it right now.
Dude, why would they do that? You don't even support the diversity of judges, the infrastructure bill, the rescue package, getting out of Afghanistan. You don't crow about unemployment improvements. You don't even care about people's pensions going up because they're invested. Why the fuck would we trust you to crow about $2,000? Motherfucker, you'd set the standard at $2,000. Then if $1,600 got passed, you'd go, this son of a bitch cheated me out of $400.
Do something. Give me some appearance of leadership. You know.
Why? Why the fuck would we trust you to support or crow about anything, even if the $2,000 check got through? 3 months later, after it's spent, worked its way in, created inflation in a bunch of different areas, usually in low-income areas because that's where the cash gets spent the quickest, because people who are wealthy would just sit on it. They're not going to, in wealthy areas, that money's not going to go up, and if it does, it'll be in the margins. It won't affect their bottom line at all. But in poor areas, that extra $2,000 would jack the fuck out of everything. Three months later, you think Kyle's going to be like, yeah, Biden got us that $2,000. What have you done for me lately?
Actually sign some executive orders that might help people. I mean, we talk about it all the time.
Oh my God, we talk about it all the time. Do you? You talk about it all the time? Let's see. Shall we? Let me jump in here real quick, if I may. Slide this over. Give me a second. List of Biden executive orders. Federal Register. See, adjustments to certain rates of pay, establishing the United States Council on Transnational Organized Crime, transforming federal customer experience and service delivery to rebuild trust in government, catalyzing clean energy industries and jobs through federal sustainability, National Space Council, non-displacement of qualified workers under service contracts, termination of emergency with respect to the situation in Burundi, improving public safety and criminal justice for Native Americans, and addressing the crisis of missing or murdered indigenous people. Do something, man. Do something that Kyle gives a fuck about, because he doesn't give a fuck about. This is the list of things that Kyle Kulinski either does not care about or fucking hates. One or the other. All of the above. This is it. Implementation of Infrastructure and Investment and Jobs Act. Well, all the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, getting the lead pipes out, getting the, broadband, improving roads and bridges so people don't fucking die. Kyle's against it. It's a sign of bad leadership. Designation to exercise authority over national defense stockpile. The White House initiative on advancing educational equity, excellence, and economic opportunity for black Americans. Something that, come on, Biden, why don't you do fucking something? Something that matters. Not this bullshit. Kyle hates this stuff. What the fuck is this point, for? This doesn't help Kyle at all. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that dude has 900,000+ subscribers. Well, he's been around for a long fucking time, yammering like this. He's been aligned with, he was with Justice Democrats where they kicked Cenk out, right? White House initiative on advancing educational equity, excellence, and economic opportunity for Native Americans and strengthening tribal colleges and universities. Fuck those people, right, Kyle? Fuck them. When's Biden going to do something worthwhile with that powerful pen of his? Continuance or reestablishment of certain federal advisory committees and amendments or executive orders. Adding measles to the list of quarantinable communicable diseases. Good idea. Imposing sanctions on certain persons with respect to the humanitarian human rights crisis in Ethiopia. Who gives a shit about, right, Kyle? Who gives a shit about what's going on in Ethiopia? You don't report on it. You don't even care. I mentioned it a few times over the last little bit. What's going on in Nigeria and Ethiopia, and the colonization by the Chinese through the Belt Road Initiative and all the bullshit they're pulling over there. But yeah, who gives a fuck about that, right, Kyle? Right, Kyle? What? Huh? Why not? Hey, Kyle. What else? Requiring coronavirus disease 2019 vaccination for federal employees. Fuck 'em. Who cares? Why does he do something? Declassification reviews of certain documents concerning the terrorist attacks of September 11th. Whatever. Let's see. Blocking property with respect to certain Russian energy export pipelines. Oh, weird. Nord Stream, anyone? We'll get to that later. Blocking property of additional persons contributing to the situation in Belarus. Russia again. These, by the way, these are two things that Kyle is pissed about and very upset with. This should not be allowed. Yeah. Strengthening American leadership in clean cars and trucks. Check my camera focus. It seems fine on my end. I don't have it on... I don't know. I don't have it on autofocus. It should be on manual focus anyways. Maybe I'm leaning in and out. Diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in the federal workforce. Fuck them. You get my point. Do you think Kyle has covered any of those things? Any of them? Do you think he gives a fuck about any of those things? Do you think Native American women and children and men go missing and nothing's been done about it? Stick to that. Stick to it. Fuck them. Hi, everybody.
This show, but when it comes to the student loan debt crisis, you've got nearly $2 trillion in the student loan debt crisis, which is nothing but an anchor.
And also, for the record, nothing but an anchor. Go fuck yourself. First of all, means testing loan forgiveness or specific to certain industries like nurses and other shit. There's a lot of people on board for that. And there's plenty of low-income offsets, Pell Grants and other stuff to fix when people are in over their head with student debt. And I'm all for adding more of those things. But I'm not going to forgive some $200,000 legal bill for, somebody going to like Harvard for 4 fucking years so they can make a bunch of connections to go work for a corporate firm and just write it off because it's in the pile. And that's why it's not going to pass. And he doesn't have the right to do it. You can't just eliminate it.
The ankle of an entire generation, you can get rid of.
Oh, is it an entire generation of people? What about the people who actually paid theirs off? Fuck them, right? Do they get a refund? Are we going to bail them out? They started behind the 8 ball. These kids are going to get a head start. They're going to get way ahead of other people by debt they chose to take on. Is it going to be industries only pertaining to the value added to the country, like some sort of weird communist endeavor? The state needs more doctors for the state? Or are you just going to pay off every hedge fund manager's son who goes to the same school he went to that cracked up $160,000 worth of debt?
That with the stroke of a pen. You want to talk about a stimulus for the American economy? Well, that would help massively. How many people have not been able to buy their first house, or haven't been able to get a new car, or haven't been able to participate in the economy in a more normal fashion because they're so held back by student loans. Now, thankfully,
the only reason they're held back by their student loans in a lot of cases is either because they're way young and they're not in that part of their life already, and they seem to think they're going to be ahead of that or some shit. Or, quite frankly, they accrued so much frigging debt on a degree that doesn't make them a living. Which is fine, but then that's you taking it on. If you get a poetry degree, how is that the taxpayer's responsibility to make sure you can buy a house if they never had that start in the first place? Seriously, that is literally magic money out of nowhere. Someone who makes $30,000 a year doesn't have the seed money to get a house. Another person goes to school, runs up $120,000 in debt for their education. These people still start at $30,000. This person got a loan for $120,000. This person did not. Went to work, did whatever, studied poetry on the side. And when they both reached this point, this person's been working this entire time, still working at that $35,000, $40,000 level, trying to work their way up. And then this person gets $120,000 worth of debt, just vanishes. Magic money.
They temporarily extended the pause. Okay, good, I'll take it. They were going to have to start on, February 1st or something like that. But no, permanently eliminate it. Go out there, sign an executive order. You know what? We're done with this. No more student loan debt.
By the way, you can't get rid of it with an executive order. Again, it has to pass. That amount of money has to pass the House. Then it has to pass the Senate. Then it has to go back to the House. Then the president has to do it. He can't. There's no line item situation where the president can write off $2 trillion worth of debt. It doesn't exist. It's garbage. It's silly. If you want it, that's fine, but it has to be a bill that makes it all the way through. And it's not on Biden's neck that they don't do it, or that you assume it is.
The debt slate clean. And by the way, I'm going to do an executive order which does rolling student loan debt elimination, which is effectively free college. Do something, Joe Biden. Do something.
Yes, do something, Joe Biden. Do something. Just do something. In the somethings that you're doing, just take your executive pen and do something. At some point, do something if you must. Ugh. And again, this is really about the fact that they were all in on this idea that they would write off this. And by the way, he's already, hold on. Can we do this real quick? I'm sure, I'm certain that Kyle has more than likely covered this. It has to have happened, right? I'm sure Kyle covered this and made sure that Biden got due praise. Do something. I mean, you canceled $40 billion worth, but that's just for poor people. I'm sure he covered this, right?
He's not. I don't know what planet this guy lives on where you think, somehow people are going to start liking you when you haven't done Dickie McGee's act since the $1,400 check last year?
He hasn't done anything since the $1,400 check last year. Again, that is because, according to Kyle Kulinski, more people of color serving as judges across the country is a bad thing. Getting out of Afghanistan, bad thing. Getting 70% of Americans vaccinated, bad thing. Infrastructure bill, bad thing. Rescue package, bad thing. 3.9% unemployment, bad thing. Record stock market, of course, bad thing. Preventing and combating discrimination on basis of gender identity or sexual orientation, bad thing, according to Kyle Kulinski. All these things, Dickie McGee hasn't done Dickie McGee since the $1,400 check, because that's effectively his version of governing.
I mean, get out of here with that. People are saying, "What have you done for me lately?" And the answer is
no, they're not. No, they're not. People are largely from last year. The getting out of Afghanistan was always going to be fucked. That's why nobody did it. Biden finally did it. And he's like, I'll take the hit. It's how it works. And we're out. And we're rebounding from that. He was at 41% weeks ago. He's at 44%, according to Kyle's new poll, which he says is the worst, but it's also the top of, that's the highest that Trump ever got. And his advice is be more like Trump. That's serious. That's what he actually said. Yeah, Kyle, what have you done for anyone lately? Seriously, what have you been right about? What bill that you supported has ever gotten passed? What good thing that you fight for actually exists? What single thing has Kyle Kulinski supported that's actually in place? I'm a right-winger, right? No. I actually give a fuck. I don't sell this bullshit like these guys do. This is where the whole doomsayer bullshit comes from, on the left side of things anyways. And if you're a Kyle Kulinski kisser, knock yourself out. But this is hot garbage.
Yes. You haven't done anything, which is why.
And by the way, again, he keeps saying you haven't done anything. If you're a regular viewer of his program, and you believe what he says, that is the singular narrative of his show. Oh, and by the way, trolls, people who hate my guts and who are hate watching, thank you for being here. You'll understand that we like trolls here. It doesn't bother us at all. And by typing stuff, you actually help us. So thanks very much. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down on your way out of town, because the algorithm don't care. It does not care. And if you're part of the Kyle Kulinski clan, I feel sad for you, because he's invested in failure. Everything needs to go badly or nothing goes right for him. His whole show is predicated on there is no movement forward. So anyways, and the funny thing is probably right now we've got allegedly left-leaning trolls right now who allegedly support what he's saying, even though this isn't left at all. This is as Trumpy as you come. As wolf in sheep's clothing goes, this is all, he's, the two politicians he sung the praise of in this are Andrew Cuomo and Donald Trump. And he's bloviated Trump 8-10 times in this video. At least he knew what he was doing. At least he was a leader and perceived as a leader, and he knew what he was doing, and when he'd do something right, he would do it. Right.
Numbers are in the dump. Now, I told you, it's just for this poll, he's at a record low. His approval rating is 44%, disapproval is 56%. There was one poll that we talked about, we had him at 38%. It wasn't from this polling company. This is the lowest from this particular polling.
Yeah. And by the way, he's just quoting Rasmussen, which is Trump's favorite polling company, and the one that is pro-Trump. He literally is citing the same figures that Trump actually cites as indicative of value.
Company, so CNBC Change Research poll. But, man, it ain't just going to come back up, Joe.
It already is. Literally, earlier in the show, I showed you guys it was 41%, and it's gone up to 44% in 3 weeks.
Get to work. If you're not going to lead, at least have the appearance of leadership. And I don't see it.
That's because you're intentionally not looking, fucko.
Democrats have a crisis of imagination. They don't even believe.
Oh yeah? Oh, we have a crisis of imagination, do we? Well, I apologize for not imagining that things were better off when we had Trump in office.
power of government, which is why, remember that clip that went viral where you had Jen Psaki? It's like, what do you want us to send tests to every American? And then even our shitty media.
By the way, this is almost identical to a Ben Shapiro clip about the same thing.
The journalist was like, yeah, other countries have done that. And then
other racially homogenous countries with less than 30 million people
kind of shamed the government into doing an about face and saying, okay, right, well, we're going to do something kind of similar.
No, it just became a possibility. They looked at the stockpile and they actually had them.
That where we, you could request it and then you will get it for free. We're working on the details of that right now.
Yeah, because they're not going to send them to a bunch of rednecks who are going to burn them. Why would you mail out something that you have limited supplies of and there's already a shortage of to red states where you know they're not going to use them because they don't believe in COVID and they're going to have fucking bonfires about them with them? Like, are you out of your mind? Again, this is the same thing. Send them to everybody. Even the people who don't want them or will misuse them or throw them away, waste them.
But they have this crisis of imagination where that's their default stance for everything. Hey, government, can you do this basic function of government? Pfft, don't be ridiculous. It's neoliberal rot is what it is.
How is it basic to waste limited resources on people who will throw them away or not use them? How is that valuable? How does that make any sense? And how is that not a recipe for ultimately running out of those resources that you desperately need for everything?
So look, I'm here to tell.
I just think this fuckstick likes saying neoliberal every so often, as if it means anything.
Biden, iceberg dead ahead. You got a midterm election coming up. Nobody likes you. Your numbers are in the dumps on every single front. The economy,
But I'm glad you're here to help.
Which are the two biggest things, by the way.
Yeah, even though he's done great work in all of them, and you have to admit that you will not. I mean, what do you think this is? The value of this is anything but dampening voter turnout in the midterms. That's all this is. That's what the purpose of this show is. That's what Kyle's entire methodology is, to dampen voter turnout next year. So explain to me how he's not just working for Republicans now. Oh, he's not a Democrat. He would call him he'd call himself a Demsoc or an independent, like a Vermont independent.
Oh, if you don't get to work, you're toast. But of course, the conventional wisdom in Washington is what? The more Biden does, the more progressive he is, the worse that is for the midterms, because people are afraid Biden's already gone too far left. I'm not kidding. Dude, why would people think that if all you do is shit on him nonstop? I know what Fox talks like, but you're the person basically saying he's barely a Democrat. This is what they actually think in Democratic circles in Washington, D.C.
No, they do not. It's what they think at Fox News.
They've internalized the bogus narrative of their opponents.
Yes, it's called the Kyle Kulinski Show. That's what you are doing. That's literally what this show is. You have internalized the Fox News narrative.
And they have no problem governing in that sort of a non-existent way. So, here we are. Joe Biden is truly screwed, and it's never been more clear. Do me a favor.
By the way,
subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm.
Yeah, give me that afterthought, pal. This is him with Crystal Ball. Like, do they still work together? Do they still have that show? I don't think that exists, does it? Anyways, I wanted to jump into that show a little bit. I don't really cover it much. I'm fine with debating Kyle. It's absurd. And I understand he's got some supporters in here because that's where they clamor for. They need failure. They need Trump. The value of Trump for them was that he was going to bring down the whole system so you could build it from scratch. It's the same thing that Naomi Klein talks about in the shock doctrine, and that they really believe that you have to do like an MK Ultra on the American system. You have to break it down, destroy it entirely so that you can reprogram it to be whatever you want. And it won't work. The system has to be destroyed or it will never work. So any progress, any value, any genuine growth where you get what you want is actually a negative because it takes you further away from that collapse that you're begging for. And today, that means that, in the name of, normally, we know that Kyle probably... 2 eggs a day. But I think Kyle Kalinske gets our 5 eggs. Yeah, 5 eggs today. 5 eggs in a month. 5 eggs. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, Naomi Klein makes a great point in that issue. That's effectively what he's doing. It's the Susan Sarandon idea that you have to shiv American democracy or it'll never be what you want it is. It has to be torn down. And the voters just need to wake up and they need to understand that it has to be torn down. And it fucking well won't. It's not coming down like that. And if you're so desperate for its destruction, you'll find yourself on the side effectively of the Jan 6 insurrectionists. Even Hassan has realized the only place he can actually operate is in Democratic Party politics. Yeah, because he's always known that, and now he's just coming around to it because he's a fucking liar. Kyle and Jimmy Dore and Hassan are literally becoming millionaires, telling you millionaires are the problem. You think Kyle is himself in there today? Is one of his ghost accounts? I don't doubt it. But the whole point is that you will see that crowd cannot acknowledge, except tacitly. They'll do it if you call them out on it, but never unmotivated and never without pressure. They'll never tout any of the successes that are made because they have to admit that incremental change and growth and building will work. It's like if you sell stomach stapling, if you sell lap bands as a way of losing weight, gym memberships fuck with your bottom line. And you have to decry. You don't need to go to the gym. You're wasting all your time at the gym. Going to the gym, eating right doesn't work. What you need is a solution today. So come over here. I'll slice you open, risk infection, wrap this thing around you, and you won't even feel like eating anymore. You'll just, until the fat comes back, you won't even notice. And then we can just do it again. So millionaires are the problem. Apparently, all these guys are like, money corrupts because they're making a lot of money right now, and they recognize, looking in the mirror, that they are corrupt motherfuckers. So, yeah. Zangary's new here, apparently. Anyways, good luck gargling Kyle Kalinske's balls. I'm sure it'll work out, and I'm sure all the things that he's been clamoring for that other people are doing through the hard and incremental work that it takes to actually do stuff in an adult society. I'm sure he'll tout that he was wrong and that they finally got, in place. It's a grift. Yeah, he thinks I'm right wing. I know that's how it's going to be because I know Kyle Kalinske is a Trumper. He's all in. Again, the whole purpose of his show is to stop Democrats from voting. Unless you get 100% of what you want, which you won't in most districts, because, unless he's sitting in AOC's district only talking to AOC voters, all across this country, there's a variety of voters running in big districts, like candidates running in big districts with a lot of different people in them. And unless you get 100%, you're all in, dude, then fuck it. Don't even show up. Oh, I'm a humanitarian because I actually give a fuck. It's not humanitarian to pretend you care and lie to people about a solution that doesn't exist. Tell everybody a mirage is water and get them to march out in the middle of the fucking desert and then blame someone else who comes by to give them a ride out of the fucking desert. It's a long drive, but hop in. I'm thirsty now. Do something now. You're the fucker who walked out into the middle of this. Your team, my team shit is a problem. What are you talking about? He's supposed to be on the team and he's not. That's the lie. So fun. Anyways, I appreciate you being here and typing stuff because like I said, the algorithm doesn't care whether you like me or not. It doesn't care whether you can spell the word ridiculous or not. It doesn't care. It doesn't matter if you write your without an apostrophe RE and spell ridiculous with an E. It doesn't care. The algorithm just knows, holy shit, this guy's engaging. And now because you're here, anybody who watches Kyle's show more likely will see people who watch this, watch that, will show up in their feed without any help from you. It's just automatic. And that's what helps us out. There might be a method to my madness. After all, y'all are ridiculous. It's true. Anyways, I went way over tonight, but I've been wanting to cover that one because it was so friggin' ridiculous and indicative of the problem that currently exists in people who allegedly call themselves progressives, but for some fucking reason, hate progress. They just hate it. Anything that moves us forward is and it's because they're of the ilk that believes that the whole system has to be brought down, and anything that doesn't bring down the system, even if it helps people, saves lives, like the ACA, is actually an act of violence or something. It's hateful. It's awful. And it is worse in many ways than the Trumpistan crowd, because at least they're overt assholes. Anyways, I adore you guys. I am ridiculous. Clearly, I am your ridiculous. I'm your the ridiculous. Y-O-R. You're ridiculous. Yes, you love the ACA, but hate Obamacare. Totally. Same deal. So anyways, I adore you guys. Corporate Dems are an enemy to the working class. Also, things I have typed in many other places before. What the fuck is a corporate Dem? Get over yourself. I swear to God. It's like, at this point, I don't even know if you know what progressive means. To me, Star Trek, we were Star Trek Democrats. That's what a progressive is. We're all trying to work towards an end where automation has handled most jobs. Most people spend their lives in interest and leisure, and it's because we've already gotten there with a lot of technological advancements and everybody throwing in and working as hard as they possibly can to try and push that ahead in the system we currently have until it basically eats itself, which is how it's going to happen once we reach a certain tipping point of technology. But these folks are just like, no. The proletariat must storm the castle, kill the rich, eat people who have more food than you, even though you're actually attacking people who have less. Never means test something. I should get exactly what the poor people are getting. I'm not poor, but I should also get a $2,000 check along with the other poor people who desperately need it. Is he associated with RT? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Melissa. It's the same shit. It's, But anyways, I adore you guys. I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for hanging in there with me and letting me get that one off my chest. There may be more to come in those areas. But he's as many as those, that channel hasn't grown much in the last couple of years. It pretty much staled out with the rest of them. It's kind of like the normal just eyeball growth, not ideological growth. And that's why. Because basically they are trying to sheepdog people away from voting. Because fuck it, it's got to burn down. We got to burn it down. So why would I encourage anyone to vote or participate? It's all machine. Nobody cares. It's the same stuff that Trump is selling about rigged elections, just with a different voice. Anyways, much love. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing and supporting the show in every way you see fit. And to all those who watch the show and cannot in any way support the show through, stars and super chats and all that stuff. Thank you for just being here. Your time is valuable. I do not ever want to waste it. And I thank you for that gift. I recognize it is the one thing you can never get more of. So thank you for spending it with me. I genuinely mean it. Bye, everybody.